Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Cape Shit podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Hector, also known as CN6.
And this is Hav.
And we're going to be reviewing Iron Man
2008.
2008,
The
man.
very first MCU movie.
Yeah,
ever.
man. Ever, man. It's what started it all.
This was started it all, bro.
Yeah.
And you ready? 15 years ago.
Hey, man, I'm ready. I'm actually kind of excited, man, because I recently rewatched it just for this, and hey, man, it's fire.
It still holds up, bro.
It's fire.
It's still fire.
But before we get into it, guys, I just want to let you guys know you guys can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, Google, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Also, make sure you follow our socials at Cape Shit Podcast or go to capeshitpodcast.com. You're gonna see all of our links and socials through there. But with that being said, guys, man, suit the fuck up, bro, because we're about to get into it, huh, man? We're about to get into it.
Yeah, bro.
And
hey, man, this movie came out 15 years ago, bro.
that's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Bro, we were 8.
Yeah, bro.
8 years old when this fucking movie came out, bro. And I saw it when it came out.
I didn't see it in theaters.
No?
No.
I remember watching it, bro. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, as a kid, like, it was like a superhero movie, so I liked it. And then time went on, like, I kind of got older and older, and I was like, man, like, that first Iron Man movie, like, I barely remember it. I don't even know if I even liked it all that much. So one day I decided to rewatch it. I must have been like 13 or something, and I was like, damn, this movie still slaps.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
And to this day, I always rewatch Iron Man every now and then, and once in a blue moon, and I'm just like, fuck, man, that movie's still great.
Dude.
Like, I cannot believe how good it was.
No, yeah, man. Because I recently saw it maybe like a month ago or something like that. And yeah, bro, and it's fucking, it's fire, man. Well, and that's the thing I was telling to you is like, I don't know if it's because like, I'm saying that because like the recent Marvel stuff like hasn't just been meeting my expectations.
Sure.
And maybe that's why I'm feeling. Maybe this one is. That's why I'm feeling. Yo,
you're like an old. You're like an old man. Like how old people be like, they don't do them like they used to.
Yeah, something
shit,
like that, bro.
Right? Yeah,
because like this movie was straight like simple. It was simple, but it was really done like well.
Yeah, bro. I mean, that's
I mean?
one of the things about movies, bro. Is a lot of people say if you keep it simple, the audiences they're engaged, they're hooked.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of opportunity to show complexity.
Exactly.
With like the characters and the motives and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but you always got to keep the plot simple.
Yeah.
When the movie,
for sure, bro.
When the movie's like Batman v Superman, where it's like hella crowded and there's numerous subplots and like Batman is out here doing his thing, and then Superman kind of has his own little side arc, and then we're following Lois Lane for some reason, and then we're following Jesse Eisenberg, and all this bullshit. Like, it just becomes too much. But Iron Man was like the definitive, like you keep the plot simple, and with that you gain complexity, whether it be the characters, the motives, where the direction goes, and stuff like that. And
another really quickly before we get even further, I just want to say that we also do have questions, right? That we are going to answer at the very end of the show, guys. You know, just in case if you guys don't really care about the questions or whatever, it's gonna be at the end of the show. So if you want to listen to that, just listen to it, man. The whole thing, right? I just want to point that out. We do have some questions related to this movie and everything that people would like to, get our opinion on. And I guess another thing as well is we're talking about how simple this movie was and that it made it really good. But I remember we talked about this, I think off pod, is that we have like, I guess, our own theory as to why they kind of made it simple and really stuck with the source material. Remember, because like we acknowledge that this is the first movie of the MCU, and so it's one of those things where Iron Man has already been an established character that people love from the comic books and even like his origin story and everything, and even the whole story with the villain in this movie. They kept it to the T from like with the comics, and it's one of those things where what was it? What was that? What's that saying? Don't fix it if it ain't broke. Or like that?
Yeah. Well, you reverse it if it ain't broke.
Sorry. Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't
fix it.
Yeah. My bad.
No, yeah.
But yeah, like that type of shit, and and that's because it's kind of like, okay, well, they didn't have that popularity of how they have the movies now, right? Because right now, since Marvel is already like as 2023, right? Marvel is one of the biggest,
movie studios.
Yeah, movie studios and everything. They necessarily, I'm gonna be real, they don't necessarily care that much because they know whatever they put out,
it's gonna get numbers.
Exactly. Right, and as before, that wasn't the case.
No.
So they really had to be like, all right, guys, let's try to do this right.
And the thing is, bro, is that we have to remember two things. There's two things that we got to keep in mind. And this is something that I just like thinking about as I'm watching Iron Man. Like, if I decide to rewatch it, it's something that I like to keep in the back of my mind. The first thing being is that this movie, Iron Man, and then the next movie, the second movie that comes out in the MCU after this one, which is The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Those first two movies of the MCU were both independently financed by Marvel Studios, which started off as an independent company. But it wasn't until after The Incredible Hulk that before they made Iron Man 2 is when Marvel Studios was then bought out by Disney.
Okay.
So Iron Man 1 was very much self-financed by a little independent studio. Marvel was like, you know what, let's make our own movies, man. We'll call it Marvel Studios. And it was an independently owned company. Like, Disney being the fucking money-making monopoly that it is type shit, like, it owns so many different rights. Man. It owns so many different, like, categories. Like, it owns Star Wars, it owns Marvels, it owns radio stations, TV stations, all this shit that, like, when you're bought out by Disney, I guess the one thing you never will have to worry about in your life is money. Like, if you own like a radio show, right, the 103.5 Cape Shit Pod or whatever the fuck, right? And we were owned by Disney. I guess if we wanted to, like, improve the budget, improve the mics, have cameras, or, like, improve the studio, we would never have to worry about money because we work for Disney, and Disney has hella money. Yeah. That if we ask for more money to, like, hey, can we use money to do this? Like, they'll give it to us.
Yeah.
The thing is that before they were bought out by Disney, the only money Marvel Studios could really fuck with was what they had. And at the time, there was no Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios was independently made, and the first movie they made was Iron Man. Because you got to remember, well, like, I know there's a lot of people listening to the podcast, and they're like, wait a minute, the timeline is off. What do you mean Marvel Studios? What do you mean their first movie was Iron Man in 2008? But we got Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. We got Blade. We got Fantastic Four. The X-Men movies. Daredevil with Ben Affleck. What about Punisher? What about those movies? What the fuck? Here's the thing. Obviously, those are Marvel movies, but they're not Marvel Studios movies. If you remember, in the 90s, Marvel Studios, or Marvel Comics, I should say, was nearing bankruptcy, that they decided their only way to make more money was to sell the film rights of their own characters to other companies. So they sold the Spider-Man rights to Sony. They sold X-Men and Fantastic Four to 20th Century Fox. I don't know who was in charge of making... they sold the Hulk to Universal. Universal Studios. And so these movies were being made, but they weren't made by Marvel. Like, it was like, that's why do you think when you're looking at the credits it says in association with Marvel? It's not a Marvel Studios film or whatever the fuck. But those movies, they were Marvel movies, but they were not made by Marvel. They were made by other studios, other companies and shit like that. So that's why Iron Man is the one that they can say is a Marvel Studios production, because we made it, we have the rights, and we made it. We can't, unfortunately, use our brand characters like Spider-Man and X-Men and all these characters, because and back in the 90s we sold the rights, the film rights. We can't use them in our movies, blah blah blah. So that's another thing that people need to keep in mind, is that Marvel Studios was independently owned, bro. Like, everything was financed by them. The second thing that we have to remember is that at the time, bro, back in 2008, it's facts, bro. Like, Iron Man was not a staple name in comic books. Like, he was well known, but, like, would you say his popularity level was that as high as Spider-Man?
No, but I would argue he was still popular though.
He was in the comic book community.
Yes,
but not to every single other.
Oh no, that was Spider-Man, bro. Hardcore.
It's definitely like Spider-Man. I feel like even before the Tobey Maguire movies, Spider-Man movies came out, the Sam Raimi ones. Before that, people generally knew who Spider-Man was because he had cartoon shows. He had like a lot of merchandise, and it wasn't until Sam Raimi made the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey that he started gaining more popularity. But he was still much more popular even without those movies. So to the casuals, like, Iron Man was just kind of like a who cares. Like, in the comic book community, people knew who he was, but to the casuals, not really. So Marvel Studios at this time in 2007, when they were filming and they wanted to make a movie, they took a fucking huge risk wanting to make a movie about Iron Man, because Iron Man is kind of a not well-known Marvel hero to the casual audience.
Yeah.
So the challenge that they had to overcome is, how do we make a superhero movie that everyone's going to love?
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're going to go see Spider-Man, like, oh, I already know who Spider-Man is. He's Raw. I'm going to like this. You need to now get on the good side of every moviegoer that goes and sees your movie and try to get them to fuck with Iron Man, a superhero that they probably have little to no knowledge about, preconceived.
Yeah.
So they took a risk by taking Iron Man, which admittedly is a cool superhero character, and like, okay, now we got to make a movie about him, and we have to make it kill so that everyone loves the movie. Of course, it's a business, right? They also want to make box office money and all that, but also because they really want to make a movie that fans and moviegoers and casuals can enjoy. You know, it's easy for you to pump out a Spider-Man movie because everyone already knows Spider-Man because of Tobey, his movies, and those will make money because there was already 3 other Spider-Man movies that came out before Iron Man. It's easy. Now you're talking about introducing a new character, and it's like, ooh, you know. So you cannot miss. Why do you? I feel like, and I often conspiracy theorize sometimes.
Okay.
I feel like maybe that's why the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie flopped, and then Elektra, the spinoff, because Daredevil again was not a well-known character to casuals, and then someone who goes and makes a movie, but the movie was trash, so no one gave a fuck.
Yeah.
See how that didn't happen with Spider-Man, because Sam Raimi killed it with the first movie. That's why it didn't happen with the X-Men, because the first X-Men movie was cool when Bryan Singer did it. The first Fantastic Four movie, while not perfect, and a lot of people call it trash, it holds a special place in my heart. I like it. There's flaws in it.
The Silver Surfer one has like a special place, because I just grew up with that one.
All of that one? I grew up on the OG one.
No,
the first one.
No, I grew up with the
Silver Surfer
one.
That one was cool too. Like, but like those movies are deemed okay. But like a lot of people for some reason gravitated more to Fantastic Four. I guess because the cast, like Chris Evans and Jessica Alba, were attached to it.
Right.
It was a team of 4 characters rather than one superhero having their own. You know what I mean? So I conspiracy theorize sometimes, and I go, maybe that's why some of these movies flop and some of them did good, like Blade doing so well. Because
Blade was raw.
A good director was behind the movie and made a good movie. But when you have Daredevil, Ben Affleck, I wouldn't say a bad director, but the dude didn't know how to make a good movie out of this source material and out of the character and out of the story, that it flops and no one gave a fuck type shit. And we didn't get a Daredevil anything till years later when Netflix put out the Netflix Daredevil with Charlie Cox. So
fire.
It was fire, bro.
It's
Masterpiece.
fire.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Iron Man, bro, like it was completely self-independently financed by Marvel Studios.
Do you think well, sorry, I don't mean to cut you
off.
No,
you're good. You're good. What happened?
I was going to say, cuz you're mentioning how they tried introducing Iron Man, right? They're like, you know what? How can we bring Iron Man to live action to where people fuck with it? Right? Do you think that is why they stuck close with the source material? Because, like, okay, listen, Iron Man is very popular in the comics. People love him. And how did that happen? From the source material and the storyline that is given in this movie, which is a popular storyline in the comics, with involving Obadiah Stane. That entire arc. So my thing is, like, do you think that also they said, you know what? If people from the comics love this or whatever, and love the story arc or whatever the fuck, and even the origin story, fuck it, let's bring it to live action, because if they loved it, I'm pretty sure this is the mass audience is gonna love it.
Like, it's with a story worth telling.
Exactly.
No,
do you think that?
I personally believe maybe that is why they stuck so close to the source material. Why they kept it real, and also because the story in and of itself is kind of a cool one, because the Tony Stark was a manufacturer for military grade missiles, and it's funny how we're talking about missiles and shit and all this bullshit because we just saw Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah.
So like Tony Stark would never be if not for that motherfucker, bro, for Oppenheimer and shit. But he was a manufacturer for making weapons of mass destruction, and then he gets into a situation where he gets humbled the fuck out and realizes, oh my god, they're using my weapons to make the world worse. Then he kind of gets an epiphany and goes, fuck that, I need to switch up. And he uses his intellect, the intellect that he has to make weapons of mass destruction, and goes, I'm going to make myself a weapon, but to protect, not to destroy.
Real question, right? I don't want to get too ahead. Do you have anything, like, in one of our segments, obviously, that we're going to get to, do you have anything related to that with Iron Man, being a part of the munitions stuff and like kind of like what Stan Lee was going for when he created them?
No.
Do you have anything? Okay, so is it fine if I could say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So at the time when Iron Man was created, at the time, obviously, like
It was like the 60s, right?
yeah, like early comics and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like there was a bunch of war and everything like during those times, and you know, very political views and everything. And during that time, people hated like the military. People hated war, understandably, right? They hated the whole economic state and everything with you know spending a lot of money on these arms or whatever. And if you guys go look this up, guys, actually Stan Lee came out and he said, I wanted to make a character that everyone else hated at the time, but make it to where like I want to make a character based on something that many people fucking hate at the time, and shove it down their throats. He literally says that, shove it down their throats, and have him be this character that like, even despite being based on these things that people hate, he still is like good, and like he can still be loved, if that makes sense. Is like you guys could find that is I'm pretty sure it was probably like an interview or something like that. Stan Lee said something along the lines of that was like really like his goal. Was like, you know what, man,
That makes sense, bro. Because there's a lot of because here's the thing, right? There's a Stan Lee documentary on Disney Plus that we plan to watch. I never finished it. I got halfway through, but he talks about how he gets a lot of ideas for the heroes, and a lot of it's pulled from real life events. I mean, Captain America.
Bro, for sure.
I think his first appearance. I believe I could be wrong. His first ever appearance in comic books, Captain America, on the cover is him punching Hitler.
Yeah, and so, with like the whole symbol of the I don't know if I can say that on YouTube.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know if I can say it, but you know what I mean. The you know what I mean, y'all.
But what's it called?
The symbol, man, type shit.
That shit.
Like Hail Hydra, bro.
Hydra but real
type shit. Yeah, like, you know what I mean.
But he talks about how like a lot of the inspiration for his characters were pulled from real life events. So that makes sense about Iron Man.
Yeah,
that
bro.
Makes a lot more sense.
No, for sure. Like, dude, that's what a lot of comic books were based off. Like at the time, like real world like events, and truthfully, and I guess shamelessly, I guess. Sometimes they would do these comics like on purpose, whether it was Marvel or other small publishers. They would do this on purpose to where like, oh, these heroes are attacking, like you said, Hitler or whatever the fuck, to try to convince the youth to join the military.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
They would do that.
Oh no, absolutely. It was if you think about it, it's kind of manipulative.
No, for sure. It was like propaganda.
It was. No, and that makes a lot more sense though, because that was like, because at the time a lot of people thought that comic books were aimed just for kids.
No, yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think the documentary, the Stan Lee one, touches on that, and then Stan Lee realizes like, man, fuck this shit. Like, I feel like older kids and older people can get into this shit. So he started making the stories a lot more mature by dealing with heavier themes and stuff like that. Like he started introducing the X-Men and how people discriminated them because they're monsters, they're freaks, they're mutants, and then how that was a metaphor to racism at the time with the civil rights movement and segregation and black bathrooms or colored bathrooms and white bathrooms and all this bullshit. Like it just makes a lot of sense, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Dude, Stan Lee was a legend, bro.
It's
what
crazy,
the
right?
Fuck, dude.
It's crazy.
Hey, man,
like,
rest in peace, man.
Rest in peace, man. I mean, I low key wish I could have like at least like met him,
dude.
You know what I mean?
I feel like if
like
we
at least
ever,
once, bro. Like,
no, I get you, bro. Like I feel like if we ever met him, bro, like
I ain't washing my hand.
he's fucking dumb.
I shake him. I gotta cut off my hand and like
put in a display.
Put in a display. No. Oh, I was about to say this, but no, this is actually true. I was about to say have him sign me and get a tattoo.
Oh yeah,
so people have done that before. Yeah, I saw this person like some guy like he had it like a huge tattoo like on his like maybe lower side back area, and he got it tattooed and shit when he met Stan Lee and everything.
Dude, I would. What the fuck?
No, you wouldn't, bitch. Shut up.
What you mean, girl?
You would not, dude.
Tattoo
no, you wouldn't.
An autograph?
You would not. Okay, who? But who would you do that? Then?
Hey man, someone that
Stan Lee?
Stan Lee, well, probably yeah.
You do Stan Lee?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Stan Lee's cool, right? Stan Lee's raw, but like I said, we always got to give credit to the other people, man, like the artists and everything. Like with Spider-Man, because that's another thing, right? That people don't really talk about. Sure, did Stan Lee create the script and the plot and everything with
the story?
With story, of course. But who I guess put Stan Lee's like his thought of it, whatever, into paper? That's like really important as well. Like Steve Ditko, he's the one who was like, okay, I see your vision, bro. bang, let me draw it. And he's the one who fucking drew Spider-Man. Yeah, he illustrated Spider-Man. And that's what a lot of people don't really give like credit to, I think, to be honest, bro, is that the artists, the artists that actually like envision, all right, this is what you want, okay, cool, what do you think about this? And they actually draw the characters out, and then that's how they become iconic. You know, Stan Lee was responsible for, you know, Spider-Man's like origins and like plot and everything, the script and everything. But Steve Ditko played a part, and he's the one who was responsible for making the iconic suit. You know, so like I think that we should give credit to those people as well. Isn't like, I agree. Yeah, it's just that Stan Lee, the reason why I would say he's so appraised is just because he was co-creators of so many different popular characters that we have now. You know what I mean?
A bunch, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so I think that's why a lot of people like really consider him to be up there, just because he was responsible for co-creating all these different characters, and because of like what he does, you know, bringing real life issues into his characters and stuff, and making them out to be something really pretty cool. But yeah, man, R.I.P. man. How long has it been? 2016?
I think he died 2018.
Oh, 2018. Yeah, man. Fuck, that sucks, bro.
It sucks.
Could have got a picture with him or something, man. But yeah, so let me see. Where were we? We were on. I think we were just going on a little bit of tangent right there.
We were talking about like the pre-genesis of the movie.
Yes,
how they came up with how Marvel was independently financed. It wasn't owned by Disney. Right. How the idea came. How they was taking a risk making Iron Man.
The whole source material.
How they were staying close to the source material. We were just kind of talking about the pre-genesis of like, what was going into.
And obviously, another thing too, guys, is I don't want to say that this movie really stuck super close to the source, like exactly 101. No, obviously they did change some things and everything, but it's one of those movies that those movies that really stuck close to it, that I really liked, and I thought, yo, that's pretty cool. Because sometimes they stray away
a lot.
Like, for example, like one perfect example right now that we have is Secret Invasion.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, Secret Invasion is completely different
compared to what?
Yeah, from what it's based on. It's and especially, I guess we could maybe do also include Secret Wars compared to the OG Secret Wars, but then later obviously they redid Secret Wars, so I haven't read that one yet, the newer one. So maybe like that, I think that's just the argument I'm making. It's just like straying away from the OG source material, but then I gotta still check out the newer version that they're gonna base it off of. So you know, we just gotta see. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, let's get into Iron Man. And you know, I just want to make this clear, guys, is that if whether you guys are, you know, veterans in the like MCU and stuff, or you know, comics and stuff, or if you're just new, maybe you're just new to the MCU, maybe you guys don't even read comics, you just prefer the MCU. We're gonna do our best to really cover everything and try to be, you know, the best of both worlds, right? So, you know, if you're like kind of a veteran with MCU lore and everything, you just want to hear our opinions on maybe you have your own opinions and whatever, and you just want to hear ours, what we think. That's perfectly cool. But if you're one of those people that don't necessarily have that comic book knowledge and stuff, hopefully we can provide that value that you guys are missing. And so yeah, Iron Man, you know, and I'm actually excited to like announce, you know, our first quick segment, Super Synopsis.
Hell yeah.
In case for some of you guys that don't know who Iron Man is from the comics. So yeah, guys, this will be our first segment, man. I'm excited. So let's get into it, right? Here's a super synopsis on Iron Man. Iron Man, or Tony Stark, grew up a genius with a passion for technology alongside his adoptive parents. His father was a wealthy industrialist and weapons manufacturer for their own company called Stark Industries. Tony ended up inheriting the company after his parents' death. As for how Tony became Iron Man, he went overseas to one of his munitions plants to test new technology for the military when he accidentally trips over a booby trap. He then was captured by local warlord Wong Chu. During his captivity, Tony realized he had shrapnel inches away from his heart. A fellow captive and award-winning physicist by the name of Yinsen was able to help Tony and construct a magnetic chest plate to keep the shrapnel from reaching his heart, keeping him alive. In secret, Tony and Yinsen used the workshop to design and construct a suit of powered armor, which they eventually called Iron Man. During the escape attempt, Yinsen sacrifices his life so final preparations could be made. Tony was able to escape and ends up taking revenge on the kidnappers. From there on out, the invincible Iron Man was born. All right, y'all, we're back. Okay, that was Super Synopsis. That's one of our brand new segments that's going to be on the show. giving a small 1 minute or less crash course on the character of who he is in the comics and stuff.
His origins.
Yeah, exactly. And another really cool thing about it is that if you guys want to see a video format of that, it's called just go to the link in the description, or just type in at Super Synopsis on all social media, on all platforms. You're gonna find our profile, and right there will be a video format where I actually provide comic book panels from the actual comics that I'm referencing and whatever, and actually it's just like a video form, essentially of Super Synopsis. So yeah, man, I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited doing those, and it's really fun.
The plan is to upload all the Super Synopsis that we do when we are here reviewing these movies and stuff like that.
Exactly, exactly. And yeah, man, it's definitely gonna be fun. I'm actually pretty excited about those. And they're fun making as well, So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully, we're gonna try our best to provide a lot of value. We have more segments coming as well, so yeah, just stay tuned. But I guess so now for obviously the veterans, you guys already know what's up. But for those of you guys that didn't know, as you can see, his origin is very similar
to what we see in the movie.
Right? There's only minor differences. I guess we could talk about the differences. Well,
one of the big one is that everyone knows that Tony Stark was ambushed.
Yes.
And he was kidnapped by the Ten Rings, the terrorist group.
Exactly.
Whereas in the comics, he just doesn't he trip over his own mine or something like that?
Yeah. So yes. So he, just like the movie, he went overseas to one of his munitions plants to test, technology for the military and everything. And then he ends up, tripping over this booby trap. And then obviously that's where he's found by Wong Chu, which is this villain that we don't necessarily see in
the movie.
In the movie, but he essentially does the same thing, I guess what these guys do in the movie, which they find him, they know who he is. They say, "Oh, well, you build us some shit, build us your military weapons and stuff." And then obviously he finds out, Yinsen, right? And in the comic books, Yinsen, he's, like I said in the video, right? He is an award-winning physicist. He's a very intelligent person, and actually Tony Stark actually knows who he is and actually recognizes him and admires his work. And so here, obviously, he was just another smart person that they got. Another smart guy that they captured to help.
Yep, that was there.
Exactly. And one thing I guess as well is that we know in the comics that Tony is actually adopted.
Yes.
In the movies,
his parents are biological.
Right. That's one thing I forgot. I don't know if they said that or anything like that. And not only that, I do. His parents obviously, they pass, and just like in the movies, they die from a car crash.
Car accident.
But in the car accident in the movies, they blame Winter Soldier, right? Bucky.
They blame Bucky.
I'm still not super sure in the comic books. I'm not sure if it's blamed on Bucky. I'm pretty sure it's they're not. But like I said, once we get to in later future movies, we're definitely gonna have those facts and stuff for you guys. But yeah, I guess what was it? Another fuck. I'm trying to remember it, because everything else, I think that's pretty much it. Everything else is quite the same. Those were the only minor details.
Minor differences.
They build the suit. He's
got the arc reactor.
Yep, the arc reactor. He the whole shrapnel in his heart and everything. Yeah, it's pretty his origin story for how he became Iron Man is fairly accurate, just like on the movie, and I really appreciate that. And even the whole storyline with the whole Obadiah Stane, which obviously we'll get to later on.
I'm also a really big fan about how they designed the Mark 1.
Oh, okay.
The design, because it looks just like the one in the comics.
Yeah.
They literally designed the Mark 1 suit to look like it does in the comics. Everything from the head shape to the eye holes.
To the eyes, yep.
How big and bulky it was and shit. And how you see the actual flamethrowers mounted on the forearms and all this shit. How it walks hella slow. I just like how the design was very much inspired. It looks just like it did in the comics. It's something that I appreciate. I like that a lot.
No, yeah, dude. It they got it pretty much accurately right there, man. And so after what happens in the movie, right? Tony's obviously ambushed and everything. He's captured by this terrorist group, and it's just like in the comics where, hey, we know who you are. You gotta fucking make these weapons for us and stuff. And you know, he ends up escaping. Jensen ends up helping him out and everything. He ends up escaping. He's out there with the flamethrower and stuff. And that's actually in the comics as well.
Yeah, look, you see?
Yeah.
Dude, it looks so good. Like, it just looks similar, bro. I fuck with it.
Even in the comics, bro, he actually does like use a flamethrower as well. Yeah, that's pretty funny as well. And so that I could just appreciate that, man, for real. But this time, I guess we could talk about like this group. So instead of obviously Wong Chu, right, it's this terrorist group that they go by the 10 Rings, right? And the 10 Rings, I'm not going to give like a super synopsis just yet, just because, you know, later on in the movies we find out that it's just like a falsified name that they just had or something like that, right? So,
but to comic book nerds, it's kind of a reference to the 10 Rings in the comics, which we know is linked to the Mandarin and all that shit.
Yes, exactly. Which obviously once we get to those things, we'll have that super synopsis there ready for you guys. And but yeah, so that's like the only difference with that, to be honest with you. I think that's pretty much it. And the whole thing, it's just the whole after that situation, obviously, you know, Tony ends up escaping and everything. He comes back and people were, you know, looking for him, like, yo, what the hell is going on, you know? And because how long was he gone again? 3 months.
I forget how long, I think, but it was a few months. It was a couple months, yeah.
Like 3 months or something. He comes back, and then obviously we even get a I guess before we get to this, I just want to say that like some things in this movie just maybe might not slide in today's right. You know,
talking about like the intro, like talking about like how the movie started, like the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit, bro. I mean, one of the things that I really like that this movie did, before we get to that, before we get to what you're gonna mention, is that I like how this movie kind of does sort of like a typical cliche that I feel like a lot of movies do, but they pull it off very well, is where they introduces the main character. They introduces Tony Stark, and he is this egotistical womanizer, like big-headed, I think I'm above all else person.
Which is accurate, man. From the comic books, that's how he is, man.
and he just has this ego, bro. He thinks he's all that. He thinks he's above everybody. He doesn't have no single respect for anybody who he deems inferior to him. And so I like that we get to see a side of him that's kind of reckless and he just kind of doesn't give a fuck and all this shit. And then when he goes through this whole ambush and kidnapping and the whole shit with the 10 Rings and the cave and him breaking out, and he comes back after like finding him, he comes back a completely changed person. He, even just little things that maybe you probably didn't even notice, but I like the fact that like when he talks to people, he's on a stage, on a podium, and he's talking over them. And if you remember in the movie when he comes back and he's like, I want to hold an emergency conference, right? When he tells Happy, you know what, I want an American cheeseburger. And then go to the press conference, right? When he goes to the press conference, everyone's standing up. Everyone's like, Mr. Stein, blah, blah. He's like, hold on. Everyone sit down. And he makes everyone sit, and he sits down with them. So like in a way, like instead of looking over the people, he's now sitting with them. It's like a visual movie cue. It's like one of those like movie things where it's like, if you notice, whereas before he felt like he was on top, like he looked over to people. Now he's like, you know what, like hold your questions. Let's just all sit down. We're a little riled up. And when he makes the reporters, everyone sit on the ground. There weren't even chairs. They just sit on the ground, and he sits down with them. Like he sits with the people. Dude. So it's one of those things where you see the character development. And bro, this is what 20 minutes into the movie, in a 2-hour-long movie. They were able to show us a character development already. Yeah, bro. Just 20 minutes. That's
and it just corresponds with everything else, you know, about him, his entire demeanor changing once he realized like his weapons were being used by the wrong hands and everything and stuff like that.
And he witnessed like how it was being used on innocent people and on villages and all this other shit. So like it was like a wake up call, which I really like that.
Hell yeah,
that's really cool, bro.
Hell yeah. And I guess what I was gonna say, right, the things that they would maybe not let slide is maybe that sex scene that we got
when he was in his ego phase before he was ambushed. He meets up with that reporter,
like, and he was flirting with her, like while she was trying
to interview him. She said, "You don't lose any sleep at night knowing that you're ruining people's lives." I'd rather lose a couple with you.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, and out here fucking and shit.
Yeah.
They're out here going
Or
crazy.
like with
and she wakes up the next morning, she naked as hell with the blanket
Yeah.
covering her titties and shit. I was like, yo, take it off.
yeah.
What you mean, girl?
Man, she mad, man. She
Hey,
mad.
what can I say, man? It's crazy.
Then Pepper Potts just like dealing with her like it's normal as fuck.
Like, yeah, like
There's a cab out there.
It's
Remember?
like, dude, she was like, because like you must imagine, like Tony Stark's
bro.
done this before.
Yeah, bro.
Because she's like, this is your clothes. They just went through the dry cleaners, and there's
Yeah.
a cab waiting for you to take you anywhere you want.
Anywhere you want, just leave.
And it's
Type
like,
shit.
damn, this is not the first time, bro. It's
No,
funny.
for real.
It's funny as fuck.
And I guess really quickly as well is, you know, I guess speaking of like, actually before we get to that, right? I just want to finish saying how like that scene probably maybe slide the whole flirting. I don't know. I just think they would change that.
All that shit.
The part where Tony gets on his private jet with Rhodey.
Yeah.
Like, man, why the fuck you drinking, whatever? And then they're drinking and have a good time with a bunch of women just dancing
All
them.
the pilot assistants.
Yeah,
There's
right.
stripper poles and they're
like,
here dancing around and drinking.
Was there a stripper pole?
Yeah, bro. There was
a stripper pole and a private jet's crazy. Hey man, listen, man. I'm trying to live like that, man. I'm trying to live like that. My boy Tony Stark going crazy, man. I'm trying to go like that.
Like,
man.
oh yeah, pulls out a remote. Like presses a button. And it's a stripper
pole.
pole.
Yeah, bro. Like what the fuck?
It's crazy.
But yeah, like we're back with we're back with like Pepper Potts, right? Like, you know, she's dealing with it, like whatever. And I guess, you know, with her, in the comic books, it's pretty self-explanatory. She is the love interest of Tony Stark.
Tony Stark.
And she's a secretary for him and everything. And I guess really quickly as well, is that people might not know, is that actually her first name is Virginia. Yes. I don't know if they say it here. Do they say it in the movies?
I remember. I think they may have mentioned it once or whatever, but that does sound familiar. The name sounds familiar.
Her first name is actually Virginia, but they just call her, you know, Pepper Potts. Like,
I wonder why. Where did the nickname come from?
I have no idea. I have no idea. And then with obviously we get so that's like her. So that's what we get, right? The first appearance of obviously Tony Stark, right? We get the first appearance of, you know, Pepper Potts, which is another like supporting character for him, and even love interest in the comics. Another supporting character, you know, is Happy Hogan, right? And actually, surprisingly, like he's a lot more different from the comics to the movie.
Happy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, well, yeah, especially like current like Happy, because even here he was more like the current Happy is like, you know, he's kind of like friendly, he's whatever.
Yeah.
In the first movie in Iron Man, we see him, he's kind of like serious and shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's how he was like in the comics. So in the comics, Happy was actually a lot more like tougher and he was actually a boxer.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he was a boxer, and he was like a lot more tougher than how they essentially portrayed him in the movie and like later on.
And you know who plays Happy in the movies, right? In the MCU?
Who was like, what's his name? Like, I don't know.
Jon Favreau.
Yeah, okay.
And you know who Jon Favreau is, right? He wrote and directed the Iron Man movie.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
I think I remember you telling me that.
The director of the first two Iron Man movies, he also plays a character in his own movie.
Listen, guys, my bad. I'm not good with these names and directors and writers and the actor names and shit like that. That's why Javi's here. That's his job right here to educate us, educate me, and educate all of us on that shit. Because I didn't fucking know. But I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. So like, not only did he obviously write and direct the Iron Man movie, but he also plays a character, and he plays Happy Hogan, and stuff like that.
But yeah, bro, that's how he was. So like in the comics, he was more tougher. Like he was more like actual security guard. Like he was a boxer. He's like, and
that's like, fucked, bro. That's kind of fucked if you think, because like, I feel like now they kind of like nerfed him. Like they make him a lot more happy, friendly, and it's because he mostly shows up on the Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland. Yeah, and like, I mean, I have my thoughts on those movies, bro. Like I have some issues about how like they really push the tone of it being like family friendly, and like it feels like a kid's movie. Like all the characters feel like cartoons, like they don't act their age, and even Happy like has to be all comedic and shit. Like even though, like you said, in the first Iron Man movie, he didn't really act like that type shit. So like, what the fuck going on? But
I don't know, man. I don't know what happened.
It's just, I don't know. I just don't like that. But
yeah, okay. So we're back with, you know, like Tony Stark. He's back from that imprisonment, I guess I should say. He came back. He's finding out, what's going on? And Obadiah Stane, which is a friend of his, right, is, you know, running the company while he was gone. And this is the first. Obviously, this is the first appearance of Obadiah Stane that we see in the movie. And he's essentially just running things, and Tony is kind of like, his goal is like, you know what, we're stopping this deal, we're stopping production. Don't you remember? Like, he was like, yeah,
we're gonna cease production.
Yeah, and Obadiah is like, yo, whoa, buddy, what's going on, right? And then Tony's like confident. He's like, nah, man, we're done with this shit. And he's explaining, yo, what's going on? He's like, no, man, because these are getting in the wrong hands, all these different things. And Obadiah, he don't give a fuck, man. He just wants the money. He's like, nah, man, I don't give a fuck. And to be honest, man, I kind of don't blame him, because that's how kind of most companies are.
Yeah.
Even in real life, they don't give a fuck, bro.
They just want money.
Yeah, dude, you know. And it's a company, man. So that is when it started, where Obadiah is like, nah, man, this is a guy getting reckless. And like, he can't necessarily have a say just because Tony, he has a higher stake in the company than he does. You know, and that's where it comes back to the comics, where like he has his own, where he's trying to, you know, I guess, get rid of his ass. Like, yo, bro, you fucking up my money. I can't let that slide, man. You get like, something happened. Like, he even tells him, something happened to you when you were gone, bro. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And then throughout the movie, it's just Tony, obviously, for one, obviously, he's trying to he's recreating that suit that he once built. Obviously,
he wanted to make a much better,
exactly,
much more, because, you know, obviously when he was in the fucking cave with scrap metal and shit, he only had so much to work with. But now that he's in his prime, like in his little man cave where he has all the different tools and technology in the world, like, he wanted to recreate the suit, the Mark I suit, but like more advanced. And that's where we get the introduction of the Mark II suit.
Yeah, the Mark II.
Which in the comics, is the Mark II like the Iron Man suit, just not just in gray, like just silver? Is that how it is in the comics?
I'm trying to remember, bro.
Let me look it up.
I know for a fact, the Iron Man with the gold and red. I think. Oh wait, actually, I think so. I think the Mark II was the gold and red, because
it is.
Yeah, right.
Look at this.
Am I right? Yeah, I fucking knew it.
Damn.
And then
interesting.
I fucking knew it, bro. So yeah, the Mark II was a gold and red. So yeah, it was just like, oh no, here was silver.
Here was just the all silver.
Oh, it's just silver, right? So I'm assuming the Mark III
is the
red and the golden red.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I was about to say. Yeah, that makes.
And here in the comics, the Mark III, it looks the same. Look, it's just red and gold.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I guess there's slight differences, but I don't really see it. But yeah, okay.
Mark
so
II was the gold and red.
Yeah, so I guess that's a difference right there. Is that in the movies, the Mark II was just all silver, no color. Which makes sense. I mean, why would you add color to it? He just wanted to build a better version of the suit and test it out, like,
and see what's up.
And we see how in that scene he tests flies and all this shit, right? And dude, like, talk about CGI ahead of its time in 2008.
This shit was better than the Flash.
Yeah, dude. When he was suiting up in that Mark II suit for the first time. And, dude, it's just something satisfying about watching the little robots putting the metal suits on him and then, like bolting them together and all the different pieces getting in together. And then we see, like, the shot of his legs, and, like, you see, like, the back calves, like, open up and shit. And then you see how, like, you know, the shoulder flaps open up and stuff. Like, just how it all moves mechanically. And it's like, bro, what the fuck?
And you can feel like the metal. Like, I guess you want to talk about that. Like, I want to say like a gripe, but like maybe you just prefer. How you prefer this suit more than.
Okay, so I was basically saying, I had mentioned this a couple of weeks ago to Hector off pod, how basically I love the character of Iron Man, and I'm one of those casuals, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I was one of those people where my love for him because of the first Iron Man movie. Yeah, that was my introduction to him.
Yeah, me too.
For me, I really love Iron Man, bro, and I feel like Robert Downey Jr., his portrayal as Tony Stark and all that, like, he's been fire in every single Marvel movie he's been in. I love him no matter what. I love his character. He just kills it every single time. But my only slight gripe that I have about Iron Man is that in the newer movies, I want to say, like, I guess in code, what I mean is Infinity War and Endgame. While Tony Stark and Iron Man outshine in those movies, and he clearly kills it, and he was, like, you know, obviously a very pivotal character in both movies. My only gripe was that whenever it was that and when Infinity War came around and they gave him the nanotech suit, which is supposed to be a reference in the comics to the bleeding edge suit, the one that, like, is like inside his body, but then, like, the metal comes out of his fingers and his body and then like builds on him. So when they went to the nanotech suit, something about the nanotech suit, while it looked cool because, like, you know, he presses the chest thing and, like, it's just little nanotechs and builds them, a part of me still prefers the older Iron Man suits, like we saw in Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Civil War, right? The first two Avengers movies, where it wasn't like, it didn't look too like not polished. How would you say it? Like, it looked way too like sleek or whatever. His nanotech suit looked a lot more slim, and I don't know, bro. I just like the aesthetic of the Iron Man suits in the older movies when it looked like an actual suit. Yeah. When it looked like an actual like helmet, like it just looks nicer. Like the helmet, the whole like just the armor and everything. It just looks better than what we got in Infinity War and Endgame, like the nanotech shit. I don't know. To me, it's just something that like a visual thing. I just prefer the mechanical suit.
Yeah, I do too. It does look cooler. You could even feel like the weight to it when like like when the mask closes, or like whenever he gets hit or punched, you could hear the ding. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I think it's really cool as well. Shit, dude. Okay, so where were we again? We were
that he was trying out the Mark II, and then he was about to like test flight.
Yeah, he did his first test flight like right off rip, like. And with the help of Jarvis, right? This is the first appearance of Jarvis, which is, you know, his own personal
like AI
assistant.
Yeah, that like he talks to and shit like that.
That he's built and everything. And yeah, so he ends up test flighting like off rip, man. Like, you don't give a fuck.
You know what I realized?
What?
Iron Man came out in 2008.
Yeah.
The iPhone 4S, which was the first iPhone to introduce Siri, came out in 2011. So Iron Man,
you're saying Jarvis did it first?
Iron Man introduced the virtual assistant before Apple and all these other phone companies introduced theirs.
Oh shit! What the fuck?
That's pretty cool.
I had no idea.
That's pretty interesting. I just realized, like, because you know we can talk to Siri on our phones, and like Android has I think it's called Bixby. Windows has Cortana and all this shit.
Oh yeah.
Google is just like, oh hey Google, like,
hey
talks,
Google,
all that shit. But
yeah,
like I realized that like Iron Man kind of already had that.
Yeah,
the whole like, because it's not like that in the comics. Jarvis was actually a butler.
Yeah.
In the comics, he was a real person, but in the movie they made him into a AI assistant that like it's not like Siri where it's like, hey Siri, what's the weather, and it's programmed to respond to a question. You literally can have a conversation with Jarvis like a person, and I can't wait for like technology to get there. I just want to be like, hey yo Siri, like what's up? How's your day, girl?
I know.
Like, what's going on? What do you mean?
No, nothing. Hey man, just Hey Siri,
it's funny as fuck. I should have thought of that.
Hey Siri, Schlauer.
I should have said that.
Man, listen, that's what actually would happen, bro. I'm not gonna lie. With like,
we just be fucking with it, bro.
With not gonna lie, man. If AI was able to become like hologram people, man, I know people would be doing fucked up shit.
And you know what's funny, bro?
I'm not gonna lie.
You know what's funny? Here's a side, like a side tangent.
Okay.
Is that any and all requests that you give to Siri about anything, Apple takes what you say to her and store it for 2 years and like analyze it. So like they gather information of like what are the most requested things that people ask Siri to improve. Weird, low-key, so like all the stupid bullshit you be telling Siri, bro, like
Siri.
Apple saves that shit. And they'll be like, "What the fuck are these?
What are they talking about right now?
What is slob on my knob?"
We might have to incorporate that.
We might have to like
the new AI feature.
A lot of people asking for this.
Real, right?
I guess we'll have to.
What if we make that a thing? like let's say like we get like let's say hopefully, right, like hopefully we become really popular, right, where we have a bunch of supporters. We're like, all right guys, we got to request this so Apple could get it, can do something with it. And they end up doing it. Like, hey man, there's a bunch of so far. There's been 10 million requests, man. Like every day, there's motherfuckers. There's people doing it 3 times a day. Like we got to do something about it. I guess and they go build something. Nah, man, that's fucked up. But okay, yeah, Jarvis. Yeah, you're right, bro. He was actual. Yeah, he was actual person. And they just made him here into an AI, right? And that's pretty interesting that they did it first.
Do you think the inspiration of Jarvis being a butler in the comics came from Alfred?
From Batman? Probably, dude. Like if we're gonna be honest, man, DC takes stuff from Marvel and Marvel takes stuff from DC.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like that's what happens. So I truly think so, man. I think that's what happened.
Given that given that Iron Man and Batman are both billionaires with
Type
hella
shit.
tech and
Yeah,
all this
you know.
bullshit, I guess for them both to have a butler would
Yeah,
just be like,
you
what
know.
the fuck? And you know what though? It's one of those things where I also theorize, like, do you think that because of that, and like obviously we had a bunch of Batman movies up until this point. We had Keaton, we had Val Kilmer, we had George Clooney, and then we in 2005 we got the first Christopher Nolan Batman Begins with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously we have all these Batman movies and the same thing in every Batman movies that they all have an Alfred. Do you think that, like, hey man, to try to separate Iron Man from Batman, rather than make Jarvis a butler, let's make him an AI assistant shit? Like, do you think that's why they may have changed it?
That's actually a good question. I think so, bro. Just try to differentiate. So, like, maybe like people don't hate on it
because that's my assumption. I'm assuming that the reason they didn't make him into a butler and instead made him an AI thing,
I can see that,
is because they didn't want it to be super similar to Batman.
Yeah,
because it's like, really, bro, another rich billionaire
with a butler that helps him out and shit,
and all that shit. Like, rather like, okay, let's do that, but rather than a person like a guy in a chair, it's an AI that talks to him in his helmet.
Yeah,
and shit,
but
and does
low key, but you're
right.
right though. Like, fucking Iron Man did it first, man. The AI helper shit. That's pretty interesting.
Jarvis, list me all the different restaurants of Empire. Now give rid of the ones that are 3 stars and less.
For real.
All right.
No. Give me the ones that don't serve Mountain Dew.
There it is. That's the one we're going to tonight.
Yeah,
sir.
right.
And then Jarvis would be like, sir, that is a 2.5-hour drive. It's wraps, girls. It is what it is. I'm going to be there.
It doesn't matter.
Jarvis, call Empire ahead of time. Make my food in bulk. Tell them they got 2 hours to get it ready, bitch.
Oh my God. Jarvis,
like, as you wish, sir.
Jarvis, give me the nearby soda machine. With only Mountain Dew, with only Coke products. Only Coke products. All right, Jarvis, give me the. Look, give me the nearest. Give me the nearest soda machine. I'm gonna sing of this shit.
Hey, you know what, Jarvis? Scratch that. Just order me a soda machine from Amazon.
For real, bro.
Make sure that bitch pre-stocked.
No, hell no. I would go in there. Since I'm Iron Man, I would just break the fucking soda machine and just take them out. Just take
my code red.
Yeah.
My Baja Blast.
I'd just fly away with it.
Y'all can't catch me. The police are.
Or you know what? It's like Jarvis put some what do they call it? Like missiles under that soda machine. So it's flying while you're flying. And you're able to get your shit while it's flying with you.
It's like right there next to you. You just drink that shit.
Yeah,
what
bro.
the fuck?
That's funny as hell, dude. Oh my god. Give me the nearest Empire with fresh wings. Low-key, bro, we had a powerful AI like that. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool. It'd be OP as fuck, bro.
Kind of like the whole AI for Mission Impossible.
Low-key, like right? The entity,
like
how it goes
Dead Reckoning,
self-aware and shit.
Yeah. But yeah, so fuck, where were we at? Okay, we established. Yeah, we established his Mark II, right? He's out there, test flying. He's doing his thing. It's pretty cool. And obviously, I think that's when doesn't Pepper Potts like figure out, like, she sees that he's working on shit. He's like, "What are you doing?" or whatever. And then
when she walks in and he's like, in the middle, like these robots are putting shit on him.
Dude, you know what's funny too? Like the robots, the robots spraying the fire.
Oh yeah.
What is that called? I'm having a brain fart. The fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
And while then Tony's like, "Hey, no, don't do that. We don't need that. Whatever." And remember he crashes. He crash lands on his car.
Yeah.
And then he's not even on fire, but then the fucking robot sprays the fucking. That's just funny, man. Even I like the comedy in here.
Yeah,
too,
man. The comedy was on point.
Yeah,
bro. It didn't feel forced like current MCU,
fuck no,
bro. It felt more natural.
Yeah, that's my thing. Could it be that's why I praise this movie a lot? It's because am I just desensitized and from the recent Marvel projects?
Because the thing is, bro, is that you got to remember Disney bought out Marvel Studios after their second movie, which was Incredible Hulk. Iron Man 2 was Disney financed and up. But then again, the rest of the movies in Phase 1 and Phase 2 and Phase 3 didn't really have this forced comedic shit. I feel like it wasn't until after Endgame when we started getting some of that. WandaVision didn't really have that.
No, yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier didn't really have that. Loki, I don't remember having that, but Actually, I take that back. The only movie in Phase 3 that I felt like had that heavy humor shit was Ragnarok. But that's because Taika Waititi was actually attached to it.
Yeah, man.
But I feel like after people saw that more people, I guess, liked Thor being a comedian rather than a Asgardian fucking god, is when Disney realized, like, yo, what if we just made all the characters hella funny, like Tony Stark? Like, they all, like, have witty dialogue. They all act like a goofball like Thor. And that's why some of the humor just kind of feels forced, because it's like, you know, not every single line or conversation or interaction, not every fucking movie needs a joke, a setup, a punchline, and a joke to make the audience like it doesn't make sense. Bro. So that's why, like, these earlier MCU movies, like even the ones in Phase 1, bro, like, yeah, Phase 1, like, you know, it was cool, but like the universe wasn't really established. Obviously, the universe expands more. Right. It starts going into space. We start meeting new superheroes. Phase 1 was very contained because it was just starting out, but like it still holds. Like, those movies still hold up. Like it ages like fine wine. The acting, the visual effects, the comedy, how the humor was used, everything is just. It's one of those things, bro, where like I just like movies where they don't age badly.
Yeah.
Where like you rewatch a movie from 10 years ago and you're like, this shit is not as funny, bro. Like, it's not as good. It did not age well. So it's hard for someone, a director, to take a movie and like make it timeless. Yeah. Where you could watch it 50 years from now and be like, that movie's still good. Fire. Mm-hmm. Like, the humor, the jokes were not like, it's like when you watch a movie and motherfuckers are dabbing. And that's the joke. And you're like, really, bro, dabbing? Like, what the fuck? Or like, motherfuckers planking. Remember planking was a thing? People planking on benches.
Or how about the scene with, was it Black Panther? Where like...
What are those?
Yeah, that thing.
That bullshit. Which I didn't really like that joke.
Now we're going to go back and see that. We're going to be like, ew.
Yeah, like, it's just jokes that like don't age well. Like, the humor in Iron Man 1 didn't really have references to culture, like, you know, pop culture at the time, like bullshit like that was on YouTube and shit like that, or social media. So that's why it feels timeless. That's why the humor holds up, because it's natural humor per the sake of the movie. Yep. Not, oh, this is a reference to the funny TikTok trends that motherfuckers are doing. Yeah. Right, guys? Fast and Furious memes, family. Right. Right. It's not like that. That's why I really like the humor in Iron Man. Dude, all the humor, all the jokes, all the humor that they have in all the Phase 1 movies are like this. They're natural per the movie. They don't make references to real life shit, because if it were, then 20 years from now, when that joke's dead and like no one ever thought about Gangnam Style in like 10 years, it's not gonna hold up. That's true. Type shit. So that's why I really like the humor in this one, and I feel like, and we've talked about this on the Heat Ray Vision podcast, is that we feel like the humor that the MCU has nowadays is very much linked to short attention spans and how people are just used to consuming information quick, because reels and TikToks are such a big thing. Absolutely. And I feel like that's also a reason why that's a kind of where the MCU kind of falls victim of them adapting their movies and their content to current trends out there in the real world. Whereas if you see in Iron Man 1, they don't ever do that. The jokes are natural. Like when Iron Man was like, there's two things that I want. I was captured by terrorists for 3 months. I want an American cheeseburger. Which, like, okay, that's funny, right? Because motherfucker hasn't been in the States in 3 months. He wants a burger. Like, that's the joke. Or, like, dummy. That's what they call the robot. If, using the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, that's funny, bro.
Or like when he's like, all right, testing the thruster boots in 3, 2, 1. And he hits right into the wall. Shit like that, it's funny because it's natural. But can you imagine, like, Iron Man, like, doing Gangnam Style? Nah, man. What the fuck? You'd be like, bro. That's what I mean. So I appreciate that the humor is natural to the movie and not like a reference to real world shit, pop culture reference, because it makes the movie timeless. Yep. It ages perfectly. Ages well. Dude, it's been 15 years and you said it yourself. The humor hits, the jokes were funny. Yeah, dude. Everything hits, bro. Absolutely. That's why this movie is such a gem, bro. It's so good. And it's even better knowing like it was independently made. Disney had no fingerprints on this movie and no play in it. And it was the first movie to start the MCU. If this movie flopped, the MCU would not have been a thing. That's facts, bro. If this movie flopped, we wouldn't have an MCU. But because it did so well, we were able to get all the good shit that we've had for the last 15 years. A few duds, a few misses. But mostly, I want to say maybe like 90%, fire shit.
Yeah, bro. That's, I mean,
we basically got the Marvel comic book universe in movie form. For those who like, or maybe don't have time to read, what is it, like 100 years worth of Marvel comics, they try to condense it and have their own storytelling way and put it in movie form.
Yeah.
Where you can just watch a different story, a different character arc, a different plot in the form of a 2-hour-ish movie.
Yep.
For like what is it, like 30 movies now? Holy shit.
And that's what I was gonna say. Like, you brought that up real quickly, bro. Fucking, this movie's 2 hours,
and it doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't feel like it, but not only that, like, I feel like movies back in 2008 being 2 hours, oh shit,
is rare.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think the only other movies that would do 2 hours would be like really big epic movies, like the Titanics or like the Good Will Huntings, and like movies that are like big, like
now
like
here, like
or
2023
superhero movies.
Exactly, right. And now in 2023, bro, 2 hours, that's like the
minimum. Is now the average.
Is the average.
It is the minimum.
Absolutely. Yeah, bro.
For when a movie is less than 2 hours, it's very rare. I believe the first Deadpool movie was less than 2 hours, and that was surprising.
Oh, really? Oh shit!
I was surprised when I heard that it was less than 2 hours, because like, what the fuck, a superhero movie less than? No way. Say it ain't so. What the fuck?
Say it ain't so.
Type shit. What the fuck? I guess I'm not including Incredibles, because that's Pixar. I don't think they would make their movies 2 hours.
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah.
What was it, like 2003 or whatever?
I think so.
But no, I feel like 2 hours is just the minimum now, bro, with movies and shit.
For sure, it's like the new norm.
Yeah,
kind of like with the new norm of like songs being under 2 minutes. Or like even just 2 minutes, or like under 3 minutes.
Yeah, like being short and stuff.
You know what I mean? I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I mean I have. I mean, not a lot of artists.
Because before, back then, it'd be like 3 minutes or over, like 3 minute 40, whatever.
Yeah,
4.
like that.
Now it's like under 3 minutes. Like I don't know if you've noticed that with songs.
And it's probably because record labels force their artists to make catchy, one-dimensional ass songs for motherfuckers to stream on TikTok for their shit, like to put as like background music and shit.
It sounds like you mad about it, like, man.
Because it is bullshit. No, it's facts, bro. Come on, man. It's kind of like how Disney doesn't let the MCU and doesn't let the directors do their own thing, and they force them to put forced comedy and all this bullshit. Yeah. It's like the same thing. It's the record labels making these artists how to make their songs. Like,
right.
Like, what the fuck is this 5-minute acoustic guitar ballad about your depression? Your battle with depression, stupid. Make a song about how tonight's the night, and we only have tonight, and how we only live once.
For real.
And how you're going to be 21 forever. And make that bitch 2 minutes long, not a second longer.
Or how about, your girl's out of town and them. So,
what?
What's that song?
Wait, what's that?
Like, no, your girl, no, your man's out of town and you're all alone.
Oh, what song is that?
Enrique Iglesias?
Oh!
remember that song?
I remember. Baby, I like it.
Yeah, that song's fire, bro. That song's fire, bro.
That shit go hard.
Yeah, like what? Like I want songs like that again, bro.
Low key, huh?
Or like the Black Eyed Peas.
Hey man,
pump it louder. Pump it.
Pump it. That's a good song.
Yeah, bro.
Hey man, we just got a copyright strike for singing these songs.
Do you nah,
I doubt it.
We straight. I didn't even sing that right.
Like, oh hell,
hey, they probably, dude. They probably, you know what I mean. They probably would do that. But yeah, let's get back. Okay, back to the story, right? Fucking. So yeah, he's doing his thing, and we. What I want to say is that we get a. Once Pepper is seeing what he's doing, that's when we get to see their bond like becoming a lot more, right? Because remember
Because like one of the first things we see that they share together is in the beginning after Pepper Potts kicks that bitch out.
Yeah.
She goes downstairs and like meets him in his little like man cave. And they have a conversation, and she mentions that it's her birthday, and he's like, "It's your birthday today?"
Oh shit!
And she makes that joke where she's like, "Yeah, it's the same day as last year. Isn't that crazy?" He's like, "Whoa, well, you know what? Buy yourself something nice from me. Like use my personal debit card." And then she's like, "Oh yeah, I already love it. I already love it." Like she didn't actually buy it, but she's like, I already love what you got me. Thank you so much, Mr. Stark. She's like, "You're welcome, Miss Potts." Like, so that is like, all right, like they already kind of have like a cool relationship thing going on. But I think what like draws him closer is the scene where he has to change out, what was it, like the thing in his arc reactor?
Yeah, he just had to change it out because like, he wanted to upgrade it because the one that he had was the one that was the original one that like Jensen built. So like he just wanted, I guess.
I think it was gonna expire, like it was gonna
something like that. Yeah, and he had to upgrade it. He's like on some crank shit
for real.
Like he needs that shit to like have his so like he's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what they were doing. They get pretty close through there, and I was gonna say, this is when we get the plot going, and also the development with Pepper and Tony, and even Shield that's mentioned, is once we get to that party, right? They go to that party, because who told them to go there? I was it. I'm trying to remember. Wasn't gonna hold a like a speech or something over there or something?
I forget.
An award or
went.
I forgot, but it was this party that people were suspecting that he wasn't gonna go just because, you know, traumatic experience, what he's going through, whatever. And he ends up going, and then he sees Pepper with that dress, and she looking bad, right? And he's like, "Whoa, what the heck?" Like,
and he goes and makes a move.
Yeah, he makes a move.
Let me invite you out to dance, and that's kind of how we see the relationship kind of blossom. From
yeah,
there.
yeah. We that's when we see that's happening. But then, what do I want to say? While at that party, we get Agent
Phil Coulson.
Yo. And
Clark Gregg's character.
And he's trying to talk to him about, you know, hey man, can we talk? And he says his name, like he's like, I'm from blah blah blah. He says like a long ass name.
Yeah.
And Tony's like, what the fuck? So you gotta shorten that. He's like, well, we're working on it or something like that. And obviously the acronym is Shield, right? I'm not gonna give, like I said, I'm not gonna give a super synopsis on Shield just yet, just because it's just mentioned one little thing. And same with you know, Agent Coulson. He's just, you know, supporting character and stuff. I have it to where I have it written down right here that he joined forces with the Avengers and Shield, and eventually became Shield's supreme commander for special ops. And this is in the comics of who he is and stuff.
I get you.
And so yeah, we get glimpses of, you know, Shield trying to get in contact with Tony and everything. We see Pepper and his relationship kind of blossom. You know, they're on that balcony. He's like, oh, and she's kind of like freaking out, like, yo, like,
you're my boss.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It can't be, you know, we can't be dancing like that. Because remember, he's like, all right, come on, let's go dance. And he like kind of drags her along. Yeah. And so yeah, she's like freaking out or whatever. And then he ends up leaving because he's like, oh, I gotta go like real quickly or something. No, he's like, oh, I'm gonna get us a drink. He goes and tries to get a drink, but then he sees Obadiah, and I could have sworn it. Is that what happened? And then they have this like, doesn't he talk to him? And this is where he finds out that they've been dealing under the radar.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
right.
Because he eventually meets up with the reporter chick again that he hooked up with.
Yes.
And she's the one that's like,
oh, she's the one that breaks it to him. What's
like,
happening?
It's like, yo, yeah, like look what your weapons are doing.
Exactly.
And she brings up that his Stark Industries missiles and his weapons were being used on the little village that Yinsen said he was from. Mm-hmm. So you find out that the little village is actually like, because Yinsen says like, oh, I'm from so and so. Yeah. That's where I grew up. That's my village. Like that's where I grew up in. And then she shows the newspaper to Tony, and that his weapons are being used to terrorize that village. Yeah. And it triggers Tony, one, because he's like, fuck, my weapons are still out there, but also because he's like, fuck, bro, like Yinsen saved my life. He sacrificed for me.
Like he tried saving him too.
And he tried saving me. Like he sacrificed his life so I could go on. He told me not to waste my life, his last words to me. Mm-hmm. So he feels obligated to do something about it.
Exactly.
So then after the party, I like the scene where he's going home and he's got the Iron Man arm. He's got the screwdriver and he's like screwing or whatever. And he's watching the TV, watching the news, talking about how they're terrorizing the village. Yeah. You just see the look on his face like, nah, it's rap.
Yeah, and but before we get to that, right, really quickly, I just want to say that he has a convo with Obadiah while they were, and then this is where the conflict starts. Like, yo, we're dealing on, like, look at this shit. He gets a newspaper. He's like, look at this shit, and he's like, what's going on? He's like, yo, chill. So he's like looking around the crowd, yo, chill. Tony, like, what's going on? He's like, are we dealing under whatever? And then he admits it, like, hey, like, game is game type shit, right?
Yeah.
And Tony's like, nah, man, fuck that. And then that's where the resentment, that's where you see the resentment finally start. And that's where the pie is stirring, whatever. Mm. And then we get back to the scene you're describing with, you know.
So, like, he's looking at the news. He has the arm, like the Iron Man arm, and he shoots the arc reactor. Right. And he's like, he realizes, like, you know what? Like, I'm going to use these arc reactor, like these repulsor rays. I'm gonna use this to good use. And that's when he tells I think before he gets to the party, before he left the house to go to the party, he tells Jarvis, like, hey Jarvis, you know, that other Iron Man suit I was working on, throw some red and gold on it. as a
Oh
reference.
yeah, because he looks like he looks at a car like a hot rod.
Yeah,
that
like
had those colors.
Yeah, he was like, you know what? Throw some red and gold on there, some hot rod colors. And so when he's finally suiting up to go to the village to save the people that the village that Yinsen was from, we get the iconic Iron Man suit up scene where all the machines are coming in and putting the pieces of Iron Man like on him, but it was the red and gold, the OG colored Iron Man suit. And we get the music, the dun 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 dun, the Iron Man music in the movie, and we see, like I said, like the drills and like how they're screwing in the different pieces and everything, and we see like how the arc reactor shines really bright and it makes one bright ass circle, and then we like get the zoom in on his face. And he puts on the helmet when you see the front plate just go.
Yeah, man, it's badass.
And it's just like Iron Man is here.
And
like
he's on his way.
That was like when he finally became Iron Man. It's when he accepted like I need to do good.
I need to do something about this.
And so he goes and flies to the other side of the world and shows up and just starts fucking up all the terrorists, bro.
That's fire.
That whole scene was cool. Like
Yeah,
the way,
bro.
dude, you remember like when he punches that one dude and he goes flying and
Yeah.
he just flies out? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, bro, that shit was crazy.
And like they're all shooting at him, but he's bulletproof and he's just like fucking everybody.
Or like
up.
or how they hold some people hostage, and then he uses like the little target things, and then out of his shoulders,
it's like this little like
what are they, like darts or like little missiles?
it's like little
dart missiles.
It's like
shit.
little, like missile things, bro. Not missiles, 'cause
Yeah.
they don't blow up, but they're like little
darts or some shit.
bullets or some shit. Like
Yeah.
they just
They're like
go in their heads and just kill them.
yeah, bro.
Yeah, man. But
shit's
like,
fire.
dude, that whole scene where he's like fighting, and then that one motherfucker, the one that captured him, the leader, he was hiding somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Remember? And he knows where he is because his helmet, like he could just see through walls, and he sees them and he just punches a hole through the wall
And rips
pulls
him out.
through
Yeah.
and leaves them to the villagers, and he's
Yeah,
like, he's
bro.
all yours.
He's all
And he just
yours.
flies off.
Yeah.
And then he lands somewhere, and then we get that funny scene where like the tank tries shooting him.
Yeah.
He dodges it.
That was a-
and then he
that's a
just shoots a
badass.
little ass missile, and he does like the typical like he walks away,
Walking away.
and then the tank just blows up behind him.
That's a fire scene.
No, that scene goes hard,
Yeah,
bro.
that
That
scene's
shit was
fire.
crazy. It's funny because it's a big ass tank, and it shoots at him, and he misses, and then he shoots a little ass missile, powerful enough to blow up a tank.
Hey man, it's Tony Stark, bro.
Hey man, he's just built
It's,
different.
it's Tony
bro.
Stark, bro. He got the funds, bro.
Dude, it's fucking raw, dude.
Bro, he made that tank.
And he just blew it up.
He just blew it up, man. He's
That's
like,
crazy.
What if he released like a mini tank? All right, bitch. It comes out of his shoulders. It's like a mini tank.
It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, and then the mini tank shoots it, and then it blows the fuck up. That'd be crazy. I'd be like,
funny as fuck.
God. I'd be like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's some like parody shit right there.
Yeah, for real.
That's some like current Marvel shit, man. Come
For
on.
real.
Low key. But yeah, that whole scene was fucking cool, right? And obviously, since he's over there, you know, fucking it alerts the actual military, like
Because he starts flying at high altitudes.
yeah, bro. And they're like, yo, what the fuck's going on? And then we get that whole dog fight situation where they send these jets, and they're like, we got a bogey, blah, blah, blah. We're like, what is it?
And we see that Rhodey's there.
Rhodey, yeah.
He's there and he's talking and shit and like.
Which is
and he's like-
another supporting character.
And he
first
goes,
appearance
what
that
the?
we get.
And he goes, what the? And he remembers like that Iron Man, that Tony built that one suit to get out the cave. So he calls him and he's like, "Hey man,
What's going on?
What the fuck is you up to?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing, man. I'm just chilling." He's like, "Is that wind I hear in the background?" Because you hear the like all that bullshit in his ear. He's like, "Oh man, it's just I'm outside. I'm driving right now. It's crazy out here." But it's like, motherfucker, that's gotta be you. So like he pretty much puts it pieces together and figures out that motherfucker is Tony. He's out here flying and shit, all this bullshit. But yeah, we get that scene where he's flying, he's dodging the jets and shit like that. At one point, he gets under one of the jets. He's like, "What the fuck? He's on your belly. He's
on
like,
your belly."
And he's like, "Oh shit, it's a man. It's a man. It's not a fucking plane." And like, what the hell? And like, dude, that whole.
And then doesn't he call him again? Doesn't he call Rhodey again?
He calls him back.
He's
And
like, what? I forgot what he said, bro, but it was kind of funny.
I forgot. I think he was just like, "Hey man, I lost you there." Like,
Yeah, something like that.
Like, I lost connection or something. And Brody starts laughing because he's like, "You bitch, that is you, isn't it? In the fucking suit, bitch." Like he starts laughing because he picks it up and he's like, "Yeah, that's." Totally.
And he ends up saving that one guy that like parachuted away and stuff. Remember that?
Yeah,
he ends up saving him, and then so then he goes back, right? And then where are we at right now? Is he still working on his suits when he comes back?
I think.
I'm trying to remember what happened.
I'm trying to remember because I haven't rewatched it in a while.
We haven't like I've seen it, but like it was a while ago.
I think this is when we find out. I think we cut back to the terrorists. we cut back to the leader, the one that was left to die.
Yes,
and we see him meet up with Obadiah Stane, and this was like the twist of like, whoa, what the fuck? What's he doing there?
Oh no, it's because we get a scene. Okay, really, I remember we get a scene where, because remember when Tony escapes in the beginning of the movie, he escapes and he crash lands right in that sand area, and then he leaves. Brody comes in with the helicopter and he picks him up and stuff. So we see that the 10 rings, right, the falsified 10 rings, right, that terrorist group goes to that area where they crash landed, and they're looking up, or they're trying to dig up like
All
the metal pieces from the iron suit, and they finally got some. They found the mask, and they found a bunch of it, and then that's when we go like fast forward to where Obadiah meets up with them and stuff.
And he was like, I hired you to kill Tony Stark, and you failed. And you find out that he was the one that put the hit out on him, and why he got ambushed. So Obadiah Stane was behind it all along. He was actually, which obviously he does it because he wanted Tony to die so that he could get his cut, his stake of the company, so he could just make more money. And that was the reason why he did it. But that was the twist, is that we find out Obadiah Stane was a villain, and that he was the one that put the hit out. He reached out to the terrorist group and said, y'all need to kill Tony Stark. But like, they failed.
Yeah. Fuck. And this is where they call him up, remember? And they have like they have the armor, the Mark 1, remember? When they meet up with him and stuff. And they're trying to come, like, do some type of deal, but Obadiah's like, nah, fuck nah. And like, or no, what is it? Like, he put something in his ears to cover his ears, and he plays something to where like you're paralyzed. Remember that?
I think I do, something like that.
Where he did that to that person, where like, so he's like paralyzed, and so what he does is like he takes the armor parts or whatever from that guy, and he's like, nah, fuck that deal, because I think he wanted a cut or something. Like, oh no, what he wanted was, hey, I give you this shit, you have the money and everything, you give me iron soldiers. Remember that? I don't know if you remember that.
I think so. I believe. I think I remember something like that.
Like, vaguely. Yeah, it's like, hey, I give you this shit. I give you this shit, the schematics that they left in my lab or whatever the fuck. You give me, in return, you give me iron soldiers. Obadiah's like, you know what? You maybe got a deal. Psych! And like does this little machine thing where like his ears, it's like blue, because I guess they're deafening or something. They cover it up or something. And then he's like fucking, and the dude's like paralyzed. And he's like, how about fuck your deal? How about this deal? I take y'all shit and you get nothing. That's essentially what happened. And so he took everything, right? And as soon as and then when Obadiah walks out, right? Because as he walks in, we see Obadiah's people and then the terrorist people, the terrorist people, like kind of head to head, just looking at each other with their guns or whatever. And then once Obadiah walks out, we see Obadiah's people have the terrorist group like on their fucking knees. Like, I was like, oh shit. And then Obadiah, before he goes in the car, he said eliminate them, or like get rid of them. And all you just, like, they don't show it on screen, but like it's just like a firing squad. It's just a pure execution style, bro. Yeah. And he don't give a fuck, bro. So he took those details, and that definitely leads into something big. Before we get into that, guys, right? I think we're like halfway through the show. I think we should do our second segment. What do you think, Hav? We're already an hour, like over hour 16, right? So, on that cliffhanger. If you already seen the movie, you already know. But like, you know what I mean? But like, before we get into that, of what happens to the finale and everything, I say we get into our, second segment, right?
Yeah, bro.
Let's get into our second segment, guys, and that's gonna be Super Facts.
Super Facts. Hell yeah, man. So in this segment, bro, is usually Super Facts will usually be hosted by me.
Yep.
And basically, this is where I get to tell you guys some fun facts or Easter eggs or references that were made based on the movie that we're talking about. Yep. In this case, 2008 Iron Man, right? So I got it right here on my notes. I got some facts that you may or may not have known about the first Iron Man movie.
Some fun facts, man.
Some Easter eggs.
I want to know, man. You go surprise me, man.
Yeah, there's going to be some stuff that you might not know. So I'll start off with because I have two different things, right? I have the facts, and then I have Easter eggs / references. I'll do the facts first. I have a couple on here. So the first fact that I have on here was fun fact. The script for Iron Man was not completely prepared when filming began.
Oh, what the fuck?
When they were filming the movie, they made a bunch of different changes to the script as they were filming, bro.
Oh, wow.
I think at one point they considered having Howard Stark in the movie, Tony Stark's dad, and he was going to be the villain. As a twist.
No way.
Yeah, at one point the script had that they were going to make him the villain.
shit.
They had that, but obviously they changed it to Obadiah Stane.
Yeah.
But this is just to show that the script went through a whole bunch of different revisions and like
while they were filming.
While like they were filming and they were like, you know what, let's change this real quick. And it's like they were changing the script. The script was not finished like how typically movies do. They write the script, it goes through a few drafts, finalized, and now we start filming. The script was not finished when the filming started, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, bro.
That's actually pretty cool. What the fuck?
And there's a lot of like scenes that show that were like changed. Like for example, like real quick, I don't have this written down. Do you remember the scene like before he gets ambushed when he flies out and shows the soldiers his new Jericho missiles? Remember when he launches them and it's that scene where he's like talking and he's like, "Do you want to be feared or respected?" Why not both? And then he
that scene was hard, bro.
Oh no, it's
that's
fire.
Fuck,
and then the missiles, like it's like one big ass missile that breaks into four different missiles, and it hits the mountains, and then like you just hear the explosion, and then you see the smoke come up behind him,
and like he's like lifting his hands up like
he's Jesus.
Yeah, bro.
Fun
shit
fact.
was hard.
Ready for this?
Okay.
So Robert Downey Jr. and Jon Favreau were thinking about what should Tony Stark say. Like he should give a speech to the soldiers when he launches the missiles. But what should he say? So they collaborated on what he should be saying. That eventually they had a rough idea of what he wanted to say. That they took cue cards and wrote in marker the lines that Tony Stark was saying in that scene. And the reason Robert Downey Jr. had shades on is because so that you wouldn't see his eyes off to the side reading the cue cards, all the lines he was saying.
Oh.
The line him saying, "Is it better to be feared or respected? Why not both?" That was all. He was reading it off to the side on cue cards, but he had the shades so that you wouldn't see his eyes looking off to the side.
Whoa, what the fuck?
He was reading those lines off for cue cards, bro.
How
it was
come?
not on the script.
But what?
Because they were changing the script, bro. They kept changing. He probably had different dialogue in that scene, but they were like, you know what? We can make something better.
Damn, what
Dude,
the fuck?
The script was not finished
That's
when
crazy.
they were filming. The script went through a bunch of different revisions, and filming had started, bro.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
like
they were filming it.
Yeah.
They were just filming. All right, we're gonna do
so,
this. Like,
so like
they're like pointing at the card. Hey, read this. Oh shit.
And then like, you know what? If they end up and who knows, right? Maybe if they ended up filming some scenes that they ended up, but they changed the plot. They're like, but fuck, we already filmed that.
Yeah.
What do we do? I guess we'll scrap it. Like we're not gonna use it.
Like reshoots,
Dude,
maybe.
like reshoots and all this different shit, bro. The script was not finished.
Wow.
It went through a bunch of different revisions when the movie was already.
That's actually fucking.
filming.
That's pretty cool. I had no idea,
It's
bro.
interesting, bro. It's very interesting.
All right, what else you got, Hav? What else?
The second fact I have is that when Tony Stark was flying against the jets and he calls Rhodey, like Rhodey calls him, then he hangs up and then he calls him back. The ringtone that plays when Tony Stark calls him is a MIDI or MIDI, MIDI, like a MIDI version.
Okay.
Like it's like a piano thing. It's a MIDI version of the theme music of the 1966 Iron Man cartoon.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the ringtone was his theme song from the 1966 cartoon.
Okay, I had no. Oh shit, that's pretty cool. I had no idea.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like if you notice it, you're like, oh shit.
Oh shit, yeah, like your reference, yeah. Okay, that's
the
what's
second
up.
fact I have. The third fact that I have is Tony Stark's computer system is called Jarvis. And we know in the comics it's because Jarvis was the name of the butler. But in the movie, it's an AI named Jarvis. And fun fact, Jarvis is actually an acronym that stands for Just a Rather Very Intelligent System. Jarvis.
No way. Is that for real?
That's real. That's canon.
Oh shit.
That's canon, bro.
Okay.
Just a rather very intelligent system.
Oh shit. Okay, I didn't know. I had no idea. I didn't know it was an acronym.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
In the comics, obviously, it was just a name for the butler.
Yeah,
but in the movie, they made it into an acronym.
That's pretty cool.
And that's why they call it Jarvis.
That is something that like he would name.
Why'd you name your assistant Jarvis? Because it's just a rather very intelligent system.
I was about to say that's something like that Tony Stark would do.
Yeah, like just name his shit.
Yeah.
Because wasn't in like Spider-Man Far From Home when he gets the glasses? He's like, I am Edith. It's like,
right.
Edith, what the fuck? What the fuck is Edith? Like Tony named you Edith? Yeah, it stands for Even Dead, I'm the Hero.
Oh shit.
It's like, oh, bro, like typical Tony, because like he liked his acronyms, bro. I think.
Yeah.
And you know how later in the movies Jarvis becomes Vision. So like his AI is Friday. I think Friday's an acronym too, bro. But like they never explain what it is.
Like
I could probably Google it.
Yeah.
But I don't know what Friday. But Jarvis stands for Just a Rather Very Intelligent System.
Okay, that's fucking cool. All right,
yeah.
Hey, I mean, I'm liking this.
I know you like this.
I'm liking this. Pretty cool.
This is a fact that I already mentioned in the beginning, but this is the first Marvel Studios self-financed movie.
Okay.
Without Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Jon Favreau, who was the director and the writer of this movie, who also played Happy Hogan in Iron Man 1, celebrated getting the job as the director. He was hired to direct Iron Man 1, and he celebrated by going on a diet and losing 70 pounds.
Whoa, what the fuck? Like, do you think for the role that he was wanted to do?
I don't know if it was for the role.
I don't know. Like, you know what, bro?
Like, you know what? Like, I'm
going up now.
Maybe.
You know what? I'm going up. Shit. I got to go up in, like, my health or something.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
That's probably what he did. But
Much respect, bro.
Yeah, dude, 70 pounds.
70 pounds. That's damn.
When he celebrated, like, oh, shit, I got the job. I'm directing Iron Man. You know what? Fuck it. Like, let me start losing.
Yeah.
You know, life's good right now. Like, I should probably watch out for my health or something.
Yeah, bro.
So, to celebrate, he was like, I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to determine, and I'm going to lose some weight. And who knows? Maybe the fact that he wanted to have his own role in the movie to play Happy maybe played a part in that, too. Yeah, that's what he did.
Hey, much respect, bro.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
All right, now here's the big one. I left this one for last.
Okay,
this
so
is the last fact that I have.
Okay.
Robert Downey Jr. Arguably, the best, dare I say, perfect casting to play Tony Stark.
Okay.
I don't think I could possibly see anybody else play Tony Stark. He was perfect in my opinion. But did you know that before Robert Downey Jr., there was one other actor who was almost cast as Tony Stark, but they ended up giving it to Robert Downey Jr. instead.
Who?
Tom Cruise.
Shut the fuck up.
I swear.
Are you serious? Tom Cruise?
He auditioned and he almost had the part until Jon Favreau or someone, I forget who it was. If it was Jon Favreau or Kevin Feige, pitched the idea of, hey, what about Robert Downey Jr.? You know what? Fuck it. Let's get him on. We'll have a screen test where, like, you know, he like reads some lines, and we'll do like sometimes in Hollywood, they'll do what's called a screen test where it's kind of like an audition process where the movie Logan, Wolverine, the Logan movie, they held a bunch of screen tests with different little girls, with different little child actors who would be better playing X-23. So what do? You hold a screen test where these different child actors read lines and act along with Hugh Jackman, like reading lines from the movie, and okay, which one is better acting, which one has the best chemistry, which one has the most acting range. Like, that's what screen tests are. It's when you just learn your lines and you basically give an audition tape for the movie. So I can't remember if it was Jon Favreau or Kevin Feige. I don't know who it was that pitched the idea. You know what? Let's bring on Robert Downey Jr. Let's have him do a screen test and see what he's got. And the screen test was like, that's Iron Man. He's got to be Iron Man.
Wow, so they just
gave him the job.
They just like
well, technically they
Tom
didn't.
Cruise
Technically he didn't get the job. He was in the running until they eventually gave it to somebody else. That's typically how it works for actors. That's how it works for actors, bro. Like, you just audition, and then you get the second callback, you get the third callback, a fourth one, and it starts looking good. And sometimes you might just get the part, you might just lose it to the one other motherfucker who's in the fifth call along. Like, they'll take 1,000 actors, and then, like, in the second call, they'll narrow it down to a fewer people, and then fewer until you're down to like maybe 2 people, and then that's when they get to decide who gets the part. So technically, Tom Cruise did not get the part.
But like, he was up there.
But he was there. He was in talks, and he was almost cast until, I forget who it was exactly, pitched Robert Downey Jr. He did a screen test. It fucking killed. They said, oh my God, his acting's perfect. That's Tony Stark from the comics brought to life. We got to give him the part. But Tom Cruise was almost cast as Iron Man.
That's cool,
and
bro.
And the cool thing is that now that you know that, I don't know if you've heard this before, but a lot of people say now that we're dealing with the multiverse, if we're ever going to see the other version of Iron Man, like the superior, which one's it's a version of Iron Man, but like he's like hella OP, like the one that's overpowered, like,
and like he was kind of evil.
Yeah,
Superior Iron Man. Yeah.
Okay, is that what it's called? The one where I saw a comic book panel. I forget what it was. I forget a comic book panel. There's one where he has like this really cold ass line. I'm gonna paraphrase it, but it's this whole time people think I've been playing God. Fuck no, I've been playing as human. Like saying you haven't even seen my potential.
Yeah,
a lot of people are saying, bro, wouldn't it be cool because it's the multiverse if they got Tom Cruise to play that version of Iron Man as a reference because he was almost cast as the OG Iron Man.
Kind of like what they did with Nicolas Cage with Superman.
And his cameo with the Flash because like, was Superman in a movie until it got scrapped and canceled.
Dude,
a lot of people were theorizing like how cool would it be as a reference if we got Tom Cruise to play
pretty cool.
The superior Iron Man from like another multiverse.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Okay, I guess my question would be, bro, like, what do you think? You think Tom Cruise would have been a good
I don't
fit?
know, man, because I'm telling you, with Robert Downey Jr., bro, I can't see somebody else.
Yeah, I know what you mean, bro.
I don't think it would have hit us the same.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of glad that he got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I know Tom Cruise is acting. He's a great actor, but is he Tony Stark? Or would Tom Cruise's interpretation of Tony Stark be different, and that we would now see that as Tony Stark? And we would be like, man, Robert Downey Jr., that's not Iron Man. I don't see him as Iron Man. But like, what really is? That's kind of a lot of that. You got to give credit to Robert Downey Jr. kind of making the character his own.
Yeah.
Kind of like him just kind of incorporating that like comedic kind of asshole egotistical twang to his voice and like how he talks and shit. Because even in real life, like in interviews and stuff, he acts like Tony Stark, but that's just how Robert Downey Jr. is. So you have to imagine if he's acting as Tony Stark in the movie, he's not really acting, he's just being himself. Mm-hmm. He's playing the role of Iron Man, but he just kind of plays himself. So in a way, you got to give a lot of credit that Robert Downey Jr. made the character of Tony Stark very much his own. Kind of
like I guess the way you're describing it, which I agree, I could compare it to with Ryan Reynolds, you know, with with Deadpool, where like even himself, like he kind of just portrays that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like even when we go on YouTube and we see ads for Mint Mobile, his fucking cellular company shit,
it's Deadpool, bro.
Just sounds like Deadpool to me, but like that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah, bro. That's what I'm. Yeah, I know what you mean.
He very much made it his own, like how Deadpool is in the comics and shit.
Yo, that'd be an interesting like fun episode. Like we could maybe do is like top 10 best superhero castings.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, right. Should I write that down, Loki?
Yo, that would be a good idea. I'd be surprised. I'd be intrigued, I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, those are all the big facts that I was able to find.
That's what's up, bro.
So what do you think? What do you think of these facts? Like,
it's cool, bro.
You didn't know?
Man, like this is like I'm part of this pod and I'm liking it. Like you know what I mean? Like because that's the thing, right, guys? Is like that's Hav's thing, and then obviously with me, I have the super synopsis and
the comic book knowledge,
and then I have the other segment that I'm gonna do at the end of the show that I'll announce. So like I don't pay attention, like I'm not looking for these things, but the fact that you are and I'm listening for the first time is I like it, man. It's pretty cool. I had no idea.
Of the facts that I mentioned, which one do you like more? Like which ones you're like, what the fuck? I feel like I know which one.
I think the one which one? Good.
I feel like you liked the Jarvis one.
The Jarvis one was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what the fuck? Like that one was cool, but also the Tom Cruise one. I had no idea about that. Dude. That one was fucking cool too. And I'm just trying to picture. I'm like, dang, can I actually see Tom Cruise like doing it? Because you're right, he is a good actor. But I'm like, can I see him as Iron Man? That's pretty cool. But okay, so that was the facts, right? You said you have a couple Easter eggs.
I have the Easter eggs.
All right, yeah, let's get into
having the movie.
Nice, bro. Let's get into that.
All right. I will warn you that some of the Easter eggs on here deals with some shit that happens later in the movie, but I guess it doesn't matter because it's not really. It's a movie that's 15 years old. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not really spoilers.
If I skip ahead, right?
Yeah, okay. It's all right.
All right. In that case, now to the Easter egg side of the segment. The first Easter egg is in the scene where Pepper walks in on Tony removing his Iron Man shit. Remember that scene where like he's like in his Iron Man suit and the robots are taking it off?
Yeah.
He makes that joke where he's like, let's face it, this is not the weirdest thing you've walked into me doing.
Yeah, bro.
Right? I don't know if you noticed this, cowgirl, but like if you noticed
I don't know if you noticed this, cowgirl. Like what the fuck? All right, well, okay. Well,
I don't know if you noticed, but like in that scene in the background on his workbench is Captain America's shield.
Nah, bro. Your cap.
No, look, I'll put it up. Let me pull it up.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So on his desk, you said?
On his desk is Captain America's shield.
What does that mean?
It was a reference to Captain America. But like here's the thing though. Realistically, it's like, what's his shield doing in his desk?
Yeah.
Canonically, it's just a reference.
I was about to say, because like he doesn't know who he is at that point.
It's just a reference, bro.
Right. Okay.
It's just that's.
Yeah, Hav is trying to look it up, guys.
That's just really what it was. It was one of those things where like it's in the background. You're like, oh shit, what the like? It's just a reference.
That's pretty cool, bro. I had no idea. I didn't catch it. I didn't see it.
Yeah. Okay. So here, I'm gonna try to find. And
if you can, it's all good.
Here,
we can you can show me like after.
Okay. So look, you see, look at the photo.
Yeah.
She walks in.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Oh yeah, I see it, bro. It's legit right behind him on his workbench or something. Yeah, I see it. Dang, I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude. I missed it too until I saw it. I was like, "What the fuck is that? Is that Cap's shield? What the fuck?"
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, bro. So that was the first Easter egg. Another Easter egg is that when Tony Stark takes his Mark II for his first flight test and he's flying around the city, it's one of those blink and you miss it.
Okay.
But he flies through the city where like these tall towers are, and like you know how sometimes like these big towers have like billboards on them, like the virtual ones,
Right.
that are like portrait size, or like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. In the background, like when he's flying through the city, it's one of those blink and you miss it, but there's a poster that shows Fing Fang Foom.
No way.
Yeah.
Is there a picture of that? Maybe you should have that low key, Hob, next time.
Oh, pictures?
You should have pictures ready to go. Oh, what the fuck? They have that character like in the background.
Like it was in a poster.
On a poster?
On a poster in the background. This is the picture that shows up.
Oh,
This
shit.
is the picture, right? And then
Okay.
in the movie, it's right here. See when he's flying, it's right there. So in this, it's zoomed in.
Oh,
it's like
yeah,
off, it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
off in the
yeah.
back, like right there.
Yeah,
See that?
you.
So
will
when
miss
he's like
it.
flying here through the street, you see that the poster's right there in the back, and it's a reference to that picture.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah,
So that's
bro.
Fing Fang Foom.
Holy shit! I had no idea. That's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah. So
What else we got, Hob?
the other one we have is one that we already mentioned before, is
Oh,
the
huh?
10 Rings.
Oh,
the 10
yes,
Rings
the
being
10
a
Rings.
reference to the 10 Rings in the comics, which
Right.
is led by the Mandarin.
Mm-hmm.
Which obviously he doesn't make an appearance in this movie. The 10 Rings was more so just kind of a, what'd you say, like a falsified version of the 10 Rings?
Yeah.
We mentioned this again. We also mentioned this, is that the original suit from the cave is from the comics, and how it stayed true to the design and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's another Easter
Yep.
egg. When Rhodey was in Iron Man's little man cave shit, and he sees the Mark II and just stares at it, and then he goes, "Next time," and he walks
yes.
away. That's a reference to him obviously becoming War Machine.
Yeah, and
later on in the movies.
And in the comics, he also
in the comics.
Yeah, which obviously when that happens, guys, we'll definitely have a super synopsis
On
on
War
War Machine when that comes.
But that was a reference, like he looks over at his Iron Man Mark II suit,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like they're in display, and he just
Next
goes,
time.
"Next time," and he takes a car instead.
Yeah.
That's a reference to like a War Machine being referenced, like he's being teased, like, "Oh,
Yeah,
we're gonna
bro.
see War Machine in the future," and blah blah blah. The other Easter egg is obviously a Stan Lee cameo, the one that we get in every Marvel movie. But in
yes,
this
man.
one, he's not Stan Lee; he's Hugh Hefner.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, he plays Hugh Hefner. Like it's Stan Lee playing Hugh Hefner. It's like, what the
Oh.
fuck? And I believe Hugh Hefner, wasn't he like the founder of Playboy?
Was he? I'm not sure.
Let me see. I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, I think Hugh Hefner was the yeah, he was an American magazine publisher. He was the founder and editor in chief of Playboy magazine.
Holy shit! So Stanley was playing as him?
played fucking this guy. He played Hugh Hefner.
He
the
does.
motherfucker.
He low-key does kind of look like.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
Because Tony Stark sees him, he pats him on the back. He's like, "You're looking good, Hugh." He's like, "Who's Hugh?" And then like in the credits,
Oh,
it
gotcha.
says Stan Lee Hugh Hefner. Like, no, bro, he's playing the co-founder of Playboy magazine.
Oh shit!
So
Okay.
Stan Lee plays Hugh Hefner in Iron
Yeah.
Man 1, not just a Stan Lee cameo.
Okay. Yeah, I had no idea.
And then obviously we get the post-credit scene where we meet Samuel L. Jackson and he plays Nick Fury.
Yep.
That's an Easter egg of its own that we finally get to meet Nick Fury.
Mm-hmm.
Another Easter egg would be that in the comics, Nick Fury was a white guy.
Yep.
And in more modern comics, they changed the Nick Fury design to an African American version
To have
of
him
him.
look like the movie.
And they
in the
were
movies.
no, actually.
Really?
Actually, the design of Nick Fury to look like Samuel Jackson
Yeah.
happened in the comics before Samuel Jackson ever played Nick Fury in the movies.
Oh really?
They took
Oh,
they
okay.
took his likeness and they used him as an inspiration of like, you know what? Let's like redo Nick Fury in the universe and make him like, instead of making him like the white dude, let's make him black and let's make him look like Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh no, yes, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Oh,
That's what I meant. That the Nick Fury they made a new Nick Fury to make it resemble like the one in the movie.
Oh,
That's what I meant.
I thought you meant like after Samuel Jackson played him in the movie that the comics then changed it. It's not. It's reversed.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I'm confused. Isn't
So-
that what I just said? Or like, wait, what the fuck?
No, I thought you meant that the comics designed Nick Fury to look like Samuel L. Jackson after he played him in the movie.
No, okay, no. So wait, so and then what were you saying then?
I'm saying that Marvel designed the new Nick Fury to look like Samuel L. Jackson before Samuel L. Jackson actually played him in Iron Man 1.
Oh, okay, then I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong then. I thought they changed them to like after what's it called? Actually, no, yeah, I'm trying to remember, bro. I'm trying to, because I could have sworn they made him that way to resemble like Nick Fury, like this Nick Fury that we got in the MCU. And I thought I guess it was after. Maybe.
No, it was before.
Okay.
Because the illustrators, I think they were just like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if Samuel L. Jackson was Nick Fury? That'd be cool. You know what? Fuck it. And then they made Nick Fury Samuel L. Jackson.
Gotcha.
And I guess because they stuck with that design, that I think maybe Kevin Feige pushed them to be like, yo, let's have Nick Fury and let's have it be Samuel L. Jackson like it is in the comics. So like cool. It's kind of perfect casting because it started off as like oh, how cool would it be if, you know what, fuck it, let's make Nick Fury in the comics Samuel L. Jackson, like make him look like him and stuff like that. And then for them to be like, you know what, Samuel, in quotations, right, Samuel L. Jackson is Nick Fury in the comics, what if we actually get him to play him in the movies? Yeah. And that's what they did.
Gotcha, bro. Okay, yeah.
It's not, but I know what you're thinking. You think that because he played him in the movies, that later the comics adapted it to resemble the
bro,
movie.
that's what I thought.
It's reversed, bro.
Interesting.
They illustrated they illustrated the new Nick Fury as Samuel Jackson before Samuel Jackson was even part of the MCU. It was like years before. It was just kind of like a coincidence. Yep. It was just kind of like a, you know what, fuck it, like let's just do it for fun. And obviously all these years later, like Samuel Jackson's still playing Nick Fury. He's still playing him. He's still killing it. Like what started off as like a cool Easter egg. Like would it be cool? It's now like solidified. Now he's his own thing in Secret Invasion. Yeah. And go ahead.
Did you have more?
One last Easter egg is when we see Nick Fury.
Okay.
He's like, "Good to meet you, Tony Stark. I'm Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative." And this was the first time that we've ever heard the Avengers be mentioned and referenced at all. Yep. And a lot of people, obviously, this was a big deal, especially for me. I remember at 8 years old listening to that and being like 8-year-old Hop, what? The Avengers? Yeah. What the fuck? No way. It's impossible. Because there's no way. Everyone had doubts. Like, there's no way they're going to make an Avengers movie. That's impossible. It's been a dream of ours, and it's never going to happen. Hollywood's never made it happen. How the fuck are you going to get the Avengers together? What the fuck? Like a crossover movie of more than one superhero sharing one movie? Like, fuck off. Like, so for them to reference it, they're like, no way. Are we going to get an Avengers movie soon? Which eventually we did 5 years later. But it was like 4 years later or something. Yeah, 4 years later. But that him referencing the Avengers Initiative, which is a program, but him just saying Avengers and knowing that in the comics, Tony Stark, Iron Man, is one of the main members of Avengers, is what made a lot of people hyped to be like, no way, are we going to get an Avengers movie? Is that actually going to happen? Like, they just referenced it. That was another Easter egg on top of that.
So was that everything?
That's all I have.
Okay, well, I feel like you missed a couple.
Probably
one I would say that I for sure thought you were going to talk about was Rhodey. His casting.
Oh, I mean, that's not really an Easter egg.
Well, not an Easter egg, but like a fact. Like,
well,
maybe some people don't.
I was gonna save that till the second movie when we met the new actor.
Oh man, we spoiled it, guys. Well, we mentioned it again. We'll still mention it again. Well, yeah, with Rhodey,
I think it would make more sense to be like, hey, in case y'all wondering why he looked different. Like,
no, you're right, bro. No, you're right. I got ahead of myself. My bad, y'all. I fucked that up. My bad. We'll mention it again. Fuck it. We'll mention it again, guys. Okay, so that, and I guess another Easter egg as well, bro, that I think you might have missed was a deleted post-credit scene.
Oh yeah,
with Nick Fury.
Do you know that one? He referenced Spider-Man, didn't he? Didn't he reference Spider-Man then some other person?
No, he mentions. Let me see.
It's like people who walk on walls and blah blah blah.
And X-Men and mutants. He mentions mutants.
Yes.
So that was a deleted. So like it's literally a deleted scene from Iron Man that they didn't do, which I guess it kind of makes sense, because if they went with it, they would be like, where the fuck are they, man? Like,
no,
Nick
not
Fury,
even that.
Like Nick Fury even.
Not really. That wouldn't be the problem. The problem, because this is a universe, they're just barely starting it. What if Spider-Man and X-Men just became a Phase 1 project?
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right.
The reason they couldn't use it is because they didn't have the rights to the characters.
So maybe that's why they.
That's why they couldn't. They had to scrap it. They're like, we can't reference Spider-Man and X-Men because we're not going to be able to use them in our movies.
Yeah, I actually have it right here. The deleted scene. You want to listen to it?
Sure.
Let's see. I have it right here. If it plays, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't think it's playing.
The fuck?
Yeah, you see that, right? I'm trying to play it. All right, guys. We have technical difficulties. Never mind. I guess it's not. I don't. It's not playing. I'm trying to, play. It's like frozen or whatever. All right, never mind, guys.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you saw that? I don't fucking know. All right, guys. Never mind. I guess I can't play for you guys. But yeah, it's just essentially the deleted scene. Him mentioning other heroes and obviously the mutants and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, okay. So okay, I guess that's what we pretty much.
Oh, you didn't have more?
No, that was it.
Okay.
That was it, bro. That was it, bro.
Okay.
That was it, bro. Because like I said, I wasn't really researching.
No,
all
I
that
get
stuff.
you. Because I saw that was something that was submitted by our viewers.
Yeah, which
I thought maybe they also.
No. But that's like this. This was submitted by a supporter. Supporter. What the fuck? Supporter. But it's more tied to the like questions section.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I got, bro.
Well, yeah, man, that was super facts. Those were my Easter eggs and my fun facts about the Iron Man movie.
Hey man, I fuck with it a lot, man. But yeah, guys. So now, okay, so let's get back into like the original program, man. Let's get back to it. But all right, guys. So we're back, right? We left off with Obadiah.
He goes to Tony Stark's house.
Yes.
He goes and meets with him, and he uses that paralyzed shit on him.
Yep,
too.
bro. And he
shows his true colors, like how he's a bad guy and all this bullshit.
Because what was he gonna do? No, he like meets because Tony even like said, "Oh, what the fuck? What are you doing here?" Then they're talking, right?
No,
or I forgot.
He didn't even see what Obadiah is saying. He just starts feeling paralyzed. He's like, "What the
really?
fuck's going on?"
You're
and
right.
Then he comes out of the shadows, and that's when he reveals that he was a villain and all this bullshit. He didn't even know he was in there.
Yeah, and he takes his like
arc reactor,
and he starts. I forget what was he trying to. I forgot what he was saying as well. Like
I forgot the dialogue, but I'm sure it was some villain shit. I'm sure it was just some villain bullshit.
It was some villain. It was some villain show. Hey man,
listen, it's an evil world we live in.
I hope when you sleep, I hope your pillow high. Some villain shit.
I hope you have no shoes on, just socks. You step in a puddle.
Yeah, right. Hope your socks get wet. Like basically some villain shit, right, guys? And he takes his art reactor, and he's basically just says, "Hey man, it's a wraps. I'm taking over this bitch. You're a loose cannon, buddy, and I'm gonna be needing this." And he takes away his shit. He takes his art reactor. I don't know why it's kind of funny. He took his art reactor type shit.
It takes his heart.
Yeah, he took his heart.
What if he just crushed it like Mortal Kombat? And like the movie ends.
No, actually, no. Hang on. I think we skipped the part, bro. Because before that happens, because he didn't know he needed the arc reactor until like he finally got the schematics and he got the iron pieces and shit from the terrorists.
Yeah.
And he tried to recreate it. So he gets these scientists. Right, he tries recreating it, and obviously scientists are like, "Yo, bro, what the fuck? We can't do this shit." He's like, "Tony," and he gets pissed. "Tony Stark was able to do this in a fucking cave, like all this shit. What the fuck y'all mean y'all can't do it? The amount of money that I'm putting into this, I got the best scientists. Y'all can't do this." They said, "Hey, well, I'm not Tony Stark," which was kind of funny what that scientist said. And it turns out that they needed something to be like the thing that powered it was something very unique or whatever, and that's when he exactly.
Yeah, that's what powers.
And that's what he realized, and that's why he takes it. Then that scene happens, bro. He's like, "Oh no, fuck you, bro. I'm gonna take that shit."
And then he takes it.
Oh, some villain shit.
And
dude, that's so stupid. Yo, what did he say, bro? I don't know, bro. Some villain shit.
I hope your microwavable pot pie is cold on the inside.
I hope you you eat leftover beat-ups. Fucking Javi. Fucking.
I hope there's
Hey, bro.
ice in your Mountain Dew.
For real. Hey, it's because Hive can't eat leftover beat-ups, y'all.
Yeah,
all
we
right?
fucked up. It's not fresh.
Nah, man, you stupid. Man. No, you dumb as hell, Hive. So that's the joke, guys. So
And
that's
I don't
the
drink
joke.
my soda with ice.
I mean, I can see that. Some people don't fuck with that. So
Yeah.
I can see that.
That's
But,
possible, but not leftover beat ups.
yeah, like what the fuck? It's just a day old. Like it's the leftovers. Who cares?
It's hard. It's
No,
not as,
man,
It's
you
dry as fuck. And when you microwave it, it's not as good.
Bro, you tripping, man. I don't know, man. You tripping, man. So
It's funny as fuck.
So that's the type of villain shit he was saying. And he takes his heart reactor. He's like, man, fuck you, bitch. And so, that happens. And then who finds him? No, he's not even found yet. So he goes back
He's like crawling to his cave, like his
to
lab.
try to talk with Pepper, like gets contact with Pepper.
Yeah.
Because eventually that's when Obadiah goes back, and it gets gives that reactor to the scientists, and then eventually, they create the Ironmonger from the comics and stuff. And speaking of Ironmonger, guys, we're gonna give a super synopsis on him. So yeah, guys, if in case you guys don't know who he is, well, here you go. Here's a super synopsis on Ironmonger. Ironmonger Obadiah Stane suffered greatly during his childhood. He lost his mother at a young age and lived with a drunken, gambling-addicted father. One day, his father felt lucky after a small string of gambling successes and decided to try his luck with a game of Russian roulette. He unfortunately loses, forcing Obadiah to witness his death. Obadiah then went on to create his own company called Stane International, selling international arms while working with Tony Stark's father. Obadiah would eventually try to acquire Tony's stake in his father's company, leading him to form a group of personal assassins called the Chessmen in order to eliminate Tony. He then sends the Chessmen's queen Indris Moonji to Tony to become his lover and, most importantly, a spy for Obadiah. Through the spy, he was able to acquire the original Iron Man schematics. He then used his scientists to make his own suit called the Ironmonger. The Ironmonger goes head-to-head against Tony's new Silver Centurion armor. Ultimately, Obadiah's suit was no match for Tony's new suit, leading Iron Man to come out victorious. Obadiah, humiliated at his defeat, decides to kill himself using his own repulsor beam rather than being arrested and exposed. All right, guys, that is the that's a super synopsis on the Ironmonger. In case you guys didn't know who he was from the comics and how his story ends in the comics, as we can see, how it's kind of it's kind of tragic, man.
It's kind of fucked, bro.
It's kind of raw.
You said raw?
It's raw. I told this to How like a while ago. That's like his origin story is fucked, and the way he goes out's fucked. But it's like
raw.
It's like poetic. Like we said, it's raw and shit. Like
I'm trying to do that.
For real.
Like I'm just trying to,
yeah.
It's an evil world.
Yeah, right. It's like, hey man, you ain't gonna catch me lacking.
You ain't gonna do me like this. I'll do me like this.
No, yeah, that's fucked. Even with this whole like childhood shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
What you think of that, bro?
Died?
Yeah,
dude,
bro.
that's just crazy how like his dad just comes in like, hey man, I won the lottery or whatever the fuck. I won $10. Russian roulette.
I'm on a roll. I like that. He's like, I'm on a roll,
and he rolls the barrel.
Yeah, bro. He's like, let me show you, and he rolls the gun. And hey, man, that's fucked.
I'm on a roll.
Yeah, man. Just, yeah, you roll into the morgue, motherfucker. That's fucked, bro. But no, yeah, his origin and like the way his story ends is like typical, like I feel like villain shit. And I guess the only difference, right, is obviously the only difference would be him killing himself, right, and another would be the chessman. So like in the comics, obviously we don't see that here in the movie.
No.
In the comics, right, since Obadiah has a lot of money, he actually, like I said in the video, he makes his own group of people, like his own group of assassins called the Chessmen, and they're out there, flying. They're like dressed like as knights and stuff, like chessboard, like chess pieces, dressed as knights, and like they're out there trying to kill Tony and everything. And same with the spy. That's another thing that's different, where she was planted as like a normal civilian that was in a crossfire with the chessmen, and Tony ends up saving her from the car and takes her to the hospital and like checks up on her, and like that's how the whole romance begins. They're like, I'm just checking up on you, and she's, oh, thank you, Tony. And then they start doing their little thing, and because of that, she was obviously planted and working for Obadiah. She ends up giving information on the inside, and that what that was the actual schematics to the original Iron Man, thing. And so obviously that is like the only difference with that. We don't really see the chessman or the spy and everything in the movie. And like I said, him, killing himself that way, which is pretty gnarly. But yeah, so
which is not how he goes out.
Yeah,
in the movie.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what happened, guys. So that's quick super synopsis on Ironmonger. And so Ironmonger, and he's the thing. Oh, and I guess another thing, that's another difference is the Centurion armor. In the comics, we know that the classic silver and red armor that Iron Man uses, he ends up fighting Obadiah Stane with that armor. But here, obviously, it's just the normal
the red and gold one.
Yeah, and they could do their thing. So now Ironmonger, he's in the movie, man. He's out here, big as fuck.
Fucking shit up,
doing villain shit. There should be on a t-shirt or something.
He's literally just looking at little kids with balloons. He's just cutting the strings. The balloon flies away.
That's funny as fuck, bro. But yeah, that's what he's out
there. But he's a big ass like brooding robot.
Yeah.
But like rather than causing destruction, he's like cutting balloons. And he goes like he's all
runs away. Or like he slams like books out of kids' hands. Like,
funny. His big ass Ironmonger hand.
Nerd.
No, you know what he does? His big ass Iron Man monger suit. He shows up to a basketball court, start dunking on motherfucker.
He
breaks the hoops.
Yo, I got schooled. That's some villain shit, bro. He's on some villain shit, bro. Fuck.
Y'all got served.
For
he
real.
Just flies off. But you know how like when he flies, it's slow as fuck. So it's like I'll see you all around. And he takes 30 seconds from it to take off.
It'll be in a minute, y'all.
Yeah, hold on. There's just.
And like as he's flying away, like as soon as he flies away, he's doing that evil laugh, like, and like he gets to the point where like he's getting winded. He's still trying to get out. He's like, and then he takes a break, and he keeps going and shit until he finally lifts off, bro. That's funny as fuck, bro. That's some like Adult Swim like episode, like Robot Chicken or some shit. That's funny as fuck. But anyways, guys, so Ironmonger's not a thing. Fucking Tony is crawling, calls Pepper because Pepper's there because the way it happened, Obadiah actually tried to like meet with her. Remember that?
I think so.
He tried meeting with her and he tried meeting with her, and that's when while he was in that building, the same building, that's when Obadiah like came out with the fucking Ironmonger suit, and he actually came out through the fucking concrete, bro, and was grabbing and actually picked up Pepper, like about to like squeeze her like a pepper, bro. Like what the fuck, you know what I mean? And that's when Iron Man finally like comes in and saves her, and then that's when we start going crazy. We get the fight scenes and stuff. And one thing that reminded me of like some villain shit is when Obadiah fucking picks up a car full of like a mom and a kids and just throws it at Tony,
and he catches it, bro.
You know what pissed me off, bro, is when Tony's like catches it, right? He's, what the fuck? And he sets it down, and the mom floors it.
Cause she was like, fuck.
Yeah, she floors it and runs him over, bro. It's like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, like he just saved you, bro. Like, why are you flipping out? But then again, I guess like this is the start. Maybe they didn't know about heroes and shit. You know what I mean? They're like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah,
you're like a Mega Man or some shit. Like what are you? I'd be freaked out too, I guess. But like, I don't know, man. Like, okay, clearly he saved you. He caught y'all with bitch ass. He put you on the ground, and now you're gonna like. He floors it, and Iron Man is just under the car getting run over. It's like holy shit, bro.
And shit just.
You would have been funny. No, it's probably like a cheesy joke, obviously. But he was like, "Oh, well, at least it's car proof or some shit like run over proof." I don't fucking know.
That's current MCU.
Yeah, low key, right?
That's current MCU.
That's some current, bro. Yeah, right. So yeah, they end up fighting and everything.
What did you think of that fight?
The fight?
Like the actual fight between them.
I would say, okay, if I'm gonna be honest, I think it wasn't anything like spectacular.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It wasn't anything like obviously that we've seen in current like MCU stuff, like current fight scenes, current boss battles. I would say this one was definitely more like grounded, and it wasn't anything crazy. It was just a couple punches back and forth, them throwing vehicles at each other, and obviously, that whole little part where they fly up to each other, or like Tony flies up and like for some whatever reason Ironmonger's like, you can't escape me, and like starts flying towards him. It's like, okay. And that
I think something that I really like about this fight, bro.
Yeah.
Is something that I can appreciate is how obviously it's all CGI.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like the big
yeah,
ass
sure.
Ironmonger suit, the Iron Man suit, like how they're fighting, it's all special, like it's all CGI and just visual effects. Yet it looks super like realistic.
Oh no, yeah.
Whereas
that's
like
true.
compared to like,
That's facts.
I guess a couple examples I can think of would be like Eternals or Shang-Chi. Those two movies, their third act final battle is super CGI, where like maybe it's not as noticeable because the CGI was polished, but you can definitely tell that they're in front of a green screen. You could just tell, like, you could just see the line around their head and their shoulders. Like, you could just tell that it's on a green screen. That it kind of takes you out of it, and you're like, they could have polished that up a little better, like make it seem more real, because I could tell they're standing in front of a green screen.
Yeah.
Where in this fight, like, it looked real. Like, you would think it was practical because you don't see green screen lines, you don't see the visual effects not being polished. True. I think like the cool thing about this fight scene was just how real a lot of the shit looked.
That's
and
true.
there's this common running joke that people make about Hollywood movies. And I'll let you in on the joke. Is a lot of people say that that a lot of movies, a lot of directors like making CGI in movies when it's nighttime, because in nighttime you can hide some of the finer details. You don't have to make the CGI look as good.
That makes sense.
Which in a way is kind of like cutting corners and helps you save budget.
Yeah.
To polish the CGI scenes maybe during the day that needs the extra details.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be the fact that because this fight was going on at night, maybe that's why it wasn't showing.
Yeah,
but I feel like there was good enough lighting. Like there's still street lamps and headlights from cars and shit shining everything. So like I still felt like you could see shit and it didn't look bad.
That's true. I mean, even the first flight scene, it's at nighttime. When he's flying around and shit. But I guess the scene where he's flying with the fucking jets, that was at nighttime and it looked cool. Remember that? So like, I think the CGI was definitely cool. And it definitely looked practical, but like I said, if we're gonna be honest, the fight wasn't nothing crazy.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean? It wasn't.
But I like that it visually looked real.
Yeah,
yes.
And
you can't
right.
tell what's green screen, what's CGI because of how real it looked. And I appreciate that because I feel like with Eternals and Shang-Chi, like those third act big ass boss fights, like you could just tell they're standing in front of green screen. Sometimes the CGI maybe not be as polished. That it just kind of takes you out of it. And you're like, like I wish that wasn't like that because it looks kind of fake. And with Iron Man 1, like that whole last boss fight, like the whole final fight they have, didn't look fake. It didn't look unauthentic. I feel like, and I appreciate it for being like that.
You're definitely right. And so after the whole fight scene, right? Pepper is still in that facility where Ironmonger originally came out of, and the whole goal is to shut down, is to try to get Ironmonger in the middle of this like
arc reactor
ray shit, and have Pepper activated while he's directly on top of it, so it shoots up and like disables its armor or something like that.
I think it turns off the suit or whatever.
Yeah, right. And we get that whole scene where they're fighting on top, and I guess the tension, the suspense that's building is the fact that Iron Man's power is running out. Remember that?
And also the Ironmonger is just fucking him up. Like remember when he tries punching him and he grabs him by the forearm, and he tries punching him with the other arm, grabs his other forearm, and he just crushes his armor, and he's like, oh, fuck. The fucking armor's all crushed and shit. Like it's because this big ass fucking Monger's like out here fucking his shit up. So like he's putting up a fight. Obviously because he's got the bigger suit.
Yep.
So did you also realize that the Ironmonger suit is obviously the Mark 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a bigger version.
It was just like a more like just a bigger version of the Mark 1 that he used to get out the cave.
Yep.
Which as a kid I didn't realize until I saw it. I was like, oh shit, like that's where he got it.
Even the face.
I thought he had just made his own suit.
Oh.
As a kid when I saw it, when I rewatched it older,
it.
I was like, oh shit, it's the Mark 1.
Right.
But yeah, so they're having that whole fight on the roof, bro.
Yeah, and
so he keeps telling Pepper it was like, activate it, like turn it on.
Even when he was in the way, don't you remember? Like, Iron Man was actually in the way, like he was dangling.
Because he could have died from that fucking ray.
and he didn't give a fuck. He said, "No, man, we got to get rid of this man." And then obviously Pepper's like freaking out and whatever, and so Iron Man is like hanging down in the middle, and then obviously Ironmonger, he is directly on top, right? And she's like, "No, just press it, whatever." She ends up pressing it. That whole ray shoots out, and I'm trying to think like, how did I'm trying to remember like, how did Iron Man survive that? Like, if did he get out the way just in time or something?
I can't remember if it was that or if the ray like
Just missed him.
blew him out the way. I don't know.
But it did hit Obadiah though, right?
It did.
And
that shut the suit down. I don't think it killed him. Did it kill him? I think it killed him.
I'm trying to remember. It's been like, yeah, I'm trying to remember.
I think Obadiah's, dude, I think he died because it doesn't make sense for him to still be alive and we haven't seen him again in all these movies, all these years.
Yeah, I think I
think it kills him.
Yeah, I think it did.
And as for Iron Man, I don't know if he flies out the way at last minute. I don't know if he just survives it.
Gets pushed off or something. Yeah, that's another thing. All right, y'all. Sorry about that. We had some, technical difficulties going around. But yeah, okay, we're talking about Obadiah's death, whatever. And actually, during that time, Hav looked up what exactly happened.
I looked up the YouTube video. I saw what actually happened. Because I was like, damn, like, how what did happen to Obadiah?
Yeah.
How did Tony... Literally what I said happened. Like, the ray goes up, and the ray literally just pushes...
There you go.
Iron Man out the way off to the side. But it doesn't so much. I think it's one of those things, bro, where like because the Ironmonger suit was bigger and heavier, they couldn't push him away, so he just stood there, and that ray is what causes the suit to shut down.
Yeah.
But because Iron Man's suit is much sleeker and lighter in comparison, it just pushed him off the way off to the side and shit like that. And what happened was the ray shuts the Ironmonger suit down, so he can't control it anymore. That his suit and him with it falls forward into the machine.
Oh,
he falls down into that machine, and the machine fucking explodes, and there's a big ass explosion. So Obadiah does die at the end. He and his Ironmonger suit, they both fall into the machine, and it blows up.
And the difference from the comics, in the comics, he kills himself.
Yeah.
Right. Gotcha. Okay, so that's what happens.
And then it's just like a close up of Tony. He looks like he's dead and shit, but you see the arc reactor flickering, hinting that he might still be alive. You hear Pepper in the background, Tony, like, what? Are you okay? And like it fades to black, and you think the movie's over, but then it cuts to like not too long after, and he has like the little bandage on his eye and shit, and he's reading the newspaper, and he's like, Iron Man, it's not a bad name, I guess. And he's like getting ready to give a press conference because there's people waiting on him and shit.
Yep.
And so that's where we pick up after the fight with Obadiah Stane.
Yeah, and he's like, Iron Man, I think I'm gonna go with that or whatever. It sounds sleek, it sounds simple, or like, typical.
Because it's saying like, who is the Iron Man? Like, who is this person?
They're trying to figure it out.
He's just like, Iron Man, like, that name's pretty cool, I guess, and shit.
Yeah, and so he's on his way to give a press conference. And Rhodey's like, yo, here, stick to these cards. We give you an alibi or whatever the fuck, like that wasn't you or whatever. Just stick to these cards, right? You should be cleared. And what about Obadiah? Oh, well, we just say things happen. We just say that he's going on a vacation and, shit happens, man, Like, we'll falsify, like, a plane crash or some bullshit, right? It's all right, well, whatever. He goes to the press conference. A bunch of people are asking questions like, yo, what's going on or whatever.
There's the same reporter bitch who's sitting front row.
Oh, yeah, right.
She's there again.
There. They're trying to ask questions and stuff. And so he's trying to read the cards. He's all right reading the cards, and he's just like, you know what? Like, fuck this. And he like throws the cards away, and he's like, I am Iron Man. And then everyone stands up freaking out, like, what? They start all asking questions or whatever, and everyone's like kind of like making a ruckus, and then that's how the movie just ends.
And then you just see a close up of him smiling.
Yeah.
Because he's like, yeah, that's right.
I am Iron Man.
I like the attention.
Yeah, dude.
And then it cuts to black, and then that was Iron Man.
And that was it, man. That's how he reveals he's Iron Man. He didn't give a fuck. Like, he didn't give a fuck about the whole...
He didn't care about the whole secret identity bullshit.
He's like,
he was just
man.
I'm Iron Man.
I am Iron Man. That was me. And then Rhodey was like, dude, stick to the script. He's like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, nah, I am Iron Man. And that's how it ends. And then that's when we get that post-credit scene where he comes back to his house. Like Batman, there's some random person in his crib. And you're like, who the fuck are you? And he's like, well, what you mean, girl? I'm Nick Fury. We want to talk. Yeah, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. We want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative.
Oh, shit.
And you're like, what the fuck's going on? And Yeah, man, and that's the end credit for that movie, and that's how Iron Man ends, bro.
And this was the first movie to popularize the trend of post-credit scenes.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, man. There's not a lot of movies that had post-credit scenes. A lot of it, when they did, would be like a joke.
Yeah.
It would just be like a little last scene, like it was kind of played off as a joke.
Yeah.
But Iron Man was the very first movie that popularized having a post-credit scene that would hint at what's coming next.
Yeah.
Type shit. Obviously, they referenced the Avengers, and then every Marvel movie since then has had post-credit scenes where they kind of mention what's to come. Like, oh shit, we're going to get this in the future. Obviously, this one they reference Avengers. In other movies, they reference other heroes and other things that are going on. But Iron Man was the first movie that popularized the whole end credits. Now, literally, even to this day, there are people who watch movies in theaters and sit through the credits because they think something's going to happen at the end.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not even a Marvel movie.
That's true.
It's just any movie. Like, oh man,
what's next?
What's the post-credit scene? I'm trying to see Oppenheimer 2.
Yeah,
Type shit. And it's like, what, motherfucker? Like, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. Huh?
But like,
I didn't
there
realize
are people
that.
who still sit through credits and shit on every movie because they think it's going to set up to something. Because Iron Man, mostly the MCU, was one that popularized that trend.
Yep, you're right.
And this was the first movie to do it. Because if you think about it, Toby Spider-Man movies didn't do it.
No.
Blade movies, the Fantastic Four, not even X-Men.
Not even X-Men. Yep.
Until like later on, until after the MCU started doing it, that the X-Men later X-Men movies started doing it, and Spider-Man, like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and then all the other movies that came after and shit.
Yeah. You're right, bro. You're absolutely right. They did end up popularizing it. All right, guys. So actually, before I guess we give our rating, right, for this movie, we're near the end of the show. So then now we're gonna get into like our final segment, and that is gonna be reading recommendations. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Reading Recommendations, a part of the show where we provide comics that inspire the film and first appearances of certain characters. First up we have is Tales of Suspense, issue 39 from March of 1963. We get the first appearance of Iron Man, Professor Yinsen, and the Mark I armor. And this, guys, this is just the origin story of the Invincible Iron Man. Then we have Tales of Suspense, issue 45 from September of 1963, first appearance of Happy Hogan and Pepper Potts. So here we get introduced to these characters, and in the comics, Happy is a boxer and is much more physically imposing than Jon Favreau's portrayal. Also, Pepper in the comics is a secretary, but in the film, she is already a staffer at Stark's company. Next up, guys, we have is Tales of Suspense, issue 48 from December of 1963, first appearance of the Mark III armor. And this, guys, this is where we get his first ever armor change to the first yellow and red version color scheme that would become a staple of Iron Man. Next up is Tales of Suspense, issue 59 from November of 1964, first appearance of Jarvis. So yeah, we get the first appearance of Jarvis, aka Edwin Jarvis. He is a butler for Tony Stark before becoming a butler for the Avengers. For the film, Jarvis is presented as an AI for the first time, and that is a major change. But an AI Jarvis would eventually follow in the comics. Next up is Strange Tales issue 135 from August of 1965, the first appearance of S.H.I.E.L.D. And S.H.I.E.L.D. originally stood for Supreme Headquarters International Espionage Law Enforcement Division, it's a long name. It changed many times over the years, and then in the films they settled on Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement Logistics Division. But yeah, other than that, it still remains as a spy division that involves heroes and, many connections throughout the Marvel Comics universe. Next up, guys, is Iron Man issue 118 from January of 1979. This is the first appearance of James Rhodes. And James Rhodes, guys, if you guys don't know, he plays a very important part in the Avengers mythology, and he was later retconned as playing it as an important part in Iron Man's origins. But he's always been a military man and a friend of Stark's. Next up, guys, is Iron Man issue 163 from October of 1982, first appearance of Obadiah Stane. And to be honest, guys, Obadiah Stane in the movie remains pretty faithful to the comics with, a bit of tweaks. Over a course of a lengthy storyline, we meet Stane as a tech rival of Stark's. In the comics, he leads a group called the Chessmen, who are reduced to an illusion as a chess set in the movie. Next up, guys, is Iron Man issue 200 from November of 1985, first appearance of the Ironmonger. And just like the movie, the Ironmonger in the comics is much larger and much more physically imposing than Iron Man. The Ironmonger storyline is collected in one edition, I believe. So if you guys are interested in that, it was one of my favorite storylines. I really like that one. Next up, guys, we have is Iron Man, the Iron Age, issue 1 through 2. And honestly, I'm just including this one because this is the best Iron Man year 1 story. It's 2 issues focusing on either Pepper or Happy, and it takes us through the early days of Iron Man before he wore the red and yellow costume. Next up, guys, that I want to include is Ultimate X-Men issue 9. This is the first appearance of Samuel L. Jackson's version of Nick Fury. And as you guys know, Nick Fury makes a cameo in this film. He has a long, publishing history, but for many decades with the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., the role he plays here, right, is that what's interesting is that the film took Nick Fury's look from the ultimate versions of the character, a spin-off from the main comics. That version was blatantly based on Samuel L. Jackson, so it's pretty cool that they finally got him into this film. So yeah, so he first appears in this X-Men comic. Next up, guys, is Iron Man Volume 3, issue 75 from February of 2004. We get the first appearance of Christine Everhart, and yes, she's also in the comics. Very modern edition. She only appeared in one storyline, I believe. And also, the scene where Tony gets her name wrong at a party is legit straight off from the comics. Also, guys, I want to include all the comic book references in this movie. I believe some of them we did cover in the Super Facts portion. But either way, I just want to make everything... I just want to recap everything here. And the first one is obviously the 10 Rings, an allusion to the Mandarin. In the comics, the Mandarin was descended with Genghis Khan, who came from near the region of the terrorists. Also, we get, I believe we mentioned in Superfacts, is the giant dragon appears on the billboard. Many, speculate it's an allusion to Fin Fang Foom. Then lastly, we also see signs for the Roxxon Corporation. It's a big evil corporation in the comics, and that is all the comic book references that we got in this movie. And yeah, that's gonna be all. That's gonna be it, guys, for reading recommendations. This should be enough to get you guys started. And yeah, with that being said, let's get back into the show. All right, guys. So that is the reading recommendations, right, for Iron Man and what inspired this movie. Now we're gonna get into our rating, right? And I'll give it to you first. What do you think, man?
Listen, man, it's been 15 years, bro, since this movie came out, and it's still fire. It still hits.
That's facts, bro.
It's still a great superhero movie. It's aged like fine wine, and I know it's going to continue to keep aging very, very well.
Yeah.
This was the movie that started it all, man. The MCU, everything, the trends of the post-credit scene, superhero movie, stardom, how it just became big and shit like that. This movie was a risk. It was very experimental with them changing the script a lot during filming, and it all just paid off, bro. And we got an amazing next 15 years, and it was all because of this movie, bro.
Yeah.
Personally. So, for that, and it just being an overall just great superhero movie, bro, Iron Man, it's a 10 out of 10 for me, bro.
And I think, yeah, bro, we even talked about this, off the pod, and we even agreed on our ratings, so I agree, the same thing, man. Iron Man is 10 out of 10, bro. It still holds up. It was a simple movie. It was nothing too crazy. It was very enjoyable. The comedy was not overbearing like the current MCU stuff. It was just, and it was also grounded in a way. It looked practical. It just hits, man. It was a really good superhero movie.
Fire.
And so, yeah, guys, that's going to be our rating. Now we are going to get into the questions. All right, so the first one is going to be from Sheldon M.
Okay.
All right, shout out to you, Sheldon. He says, what makes Iron Man different from the rest of the MCU films? What do you or the rest of your homies think that make this film special than other MCU films? Also, another question, kind of a what if question. What if Iron Man flopped and wasn't a success? Do you think that the idea of making a Marvel Cinematic Universe would never happen? Can't wait to hear your answers. So yeah, I guess we'll start with the first question, right?
I was gonna say, like, let's go one by one.
So what makes Iron Man different from the rest of the MCU films?
So, does he mean like compared to the current MCU?
I'm pretty sure. Like, what makes Iron Man different from the rest of the MCU films? I think so. Like from anything. From
I guess if you want to be literal, if you want to keep it literal about
like,
it.
what did this movie make? Like, what made this movie special compared to other MCU films? Yeah, I think you tried clarifying.
Like I said, if you want to be literal, again, we said it earlier, is that this movie was completely self-financed and not financed by Disney. Once Disney came in, the budgets went up and like a whole bunch of different shit was going on.
Right.
But like this was the first Iron Man movie, the first MCU movie that wasn't financed by a big corporation. Like it was just all self-financed by themselves and stuff like that. And what made it special, bro, was just how much of a risk it was. Like no one seems to talk about how much of a risk it was to make this movie, because Iron Man was not a well-known superhero to the general public, and Jon Favreau was the one tasked of making a movie so good that it would capture the hearts of every moviegoer who goes to see the movie and shit. So like it was a risk, man, because they're taking a hero that no one really knew and they tried to make him mainstream, like up there with X-Men and Spider-Man and all these other people that have had their movies and have had success.
Yeah.
So, and on top of that, man, script changes during filming and
that's crazy.
all the different story changes
that's
and
crazy
like
right there.
Getting Robert Downey Jr. to play the part and all this different shit, bro. And it's just like it was just everything about this movie was a risk. And what makes it special was all the different risks that they took on this one movie. And it fucking paid off at the end. And because it paid off, it paved the way of what the MCU is now, of them continuing to build the universe and making more movies and making them connected, and just where it's gotten to right now, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's what makes it special.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, we even talked about it earlier in the pod. We already mentioned all this, and the fact that I guess it's simple, you know, and it works. You know, I think that's what really makes it special, and and how they stuck very close to the source material and everything like that. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that. So yeah, okay. So I guess his next part of the question is, what if Iron Man flopped and wasn't a success? Do you think that the idea of making a Marvel Cinematic Universe would never happen?
So, I truly believe it would not.
Okay, so like you believe like if Iron Man flopped, we wouldn't have the MCU.
We would not have the MCU.
That's fair.
Because you got to think about it. Think of it like this. Obviously, Disney didn't just scoop Marvel Studios like nothing.
Yeah.
Obviously, they saw the success in box office that Iron Man got and the Incredible Hulk, and they said, "Hey, man, if y'all keep it going, that's gonna make us money.
Right.
So let's buy y'all out and let's work together so that we can both be making money."
Yeah.
Right. But obviously, they didn't catch Disney's attention until they saw the box office numbers for both those movies, and they saw, oh shit, these movies are making numbers, man. I need a piece of that type shit, right? So if Iron Man flopped and wasn't a good movie and was a box office flop and didn't make money, Disney wouldn't even look twice. It'd be like, whatever, like it doesn't catch my attention.
You're right.
Because it didn't make enough money, so I don't give a fuck.
You're
and
right,
remember, Marvel was self-financed. So the money that they now lost out on, putting towards the budget and the marketing for Iron Man, only for the movie to flop, and they didn't make any profit back.
Yeah.
What are the chances that they want to put a bigger that big of a budget towards another self-financed Marvel movie?
Yeah.
What are the chances that they're like, fuck, we got to burn more of our own money? Even more because we didn't make the money back. We didn't make profit because the first movie flopped box office wise. So now we're gonna just burn even more of our money to make another self-independent, I don't know, Hulk, Thor movie, whatever the fuck. But because the first movie did well and they had made their money back and profit, that's what made them want to make Hulk.
Yeah.
And then because those movies made profit is what caught the attention of Disney. If Iron Man had flopped, Disney would not have picked them up, therefore giving them more money to make higher budget superhero movies. They probably would have canceled the whole MCU idea the just everything, bro. I don't think it would happen. It was like some Oppenheimer shit. It's like a chain. It's like a chain reaction.
Yeah.
If this failed, then like this series of events would not have happened.
That's true.
So I personally believe if Iron Man like legit flopped and was terrible,
It was trash.
and just was a box office failure, like it didn't make enough money in the box office in its entire like I don't know 2-month run or whatever, I don't believe we would have had an MCU because
right.
it's all about a chain reaction. It's about a chain of events that needed to happen the way it happened for us to get to this point. And if one thing of that was different, it would not initiate the other series of events.
Yeah, you're right. It's so hard to add on when you be talking like this, man. Because you just be saying everything, man. I can't. How do I add on to that? You're right. Like I could just say, well, he said. Literally, literally, guys. Like what Hav said. I can't add on to that. I definitely agree with him. Like if this shit flopped, like there would be no point.
Yeah.
You know, and Disney was definitely a big reason because they were able to fund. You know,
Yes.
they were able to fund and make things better. You know, so yeah, I definitely agree. Shout out to you, Sheldon, bro. We appreciate the support. The next one is from TJ. Shout out to you, bro. He says, in my personal opinion, this movie doesn't hit as well as everybody says.
Damn.
Hey, man.
That's a hot take.
No, but listen.
Okay.
But it's a good introduction. My hot take
Okay.
is Iron Man 3 is the best in the trilogy. I can't remember. I can't remember. I can't remember Iron Man 3, man. I'm about to. Dude, him probably hearing this is like, man, fuck these guys. Yeah, fuck these guys, man.
What the fuck are they talking about?
A 10 out of 10. Yeah, more like Schlauer. More like Schlauer. Like, that's funny as fuck. No,
Listen,
yeah,
bro. Iron Man 3 is cool, bro, but like I don't know, man. I like the first one more. Easily the worst.
can't.
I think me and TJ, what we can agree on is that Iron Man 2 is the weakest in the trilogy.
Okay.
I think Iron Man 2 is the weakest. Iron Man 3 comes as close second, but Iron Man 1, bro, is just I feel like it's just a much better story personally.
So he continues by saying, but excluding all that, my question is, what do you think about the casting of Robert Downey Jr.?
Well, like I said, I told the story, is that it almost
Yeah.
went to Tom Cruise. He was in the running until someone pitched the idea of having Robert Downey Jr. come in.
Yeah.
Then he did a whole screen test audition, and people were like, bruh, he killed it.
And yeah, and he's just asking, like, what do we think about that? Like, was he raw as fuck? I mean, yeah. I mean, clearly, yeah.
I feel like he captures the spirit. Like,
Yeah,
he has
bro,
the
for
charisma.
Sure.
He has the personality down.
100%.
Fuck it. And then that's how they gave it to him, bro.
Yeah, dude, 100%, man.
It was all lucky. Like,
Yeah, and he just wants to mention as well. He's the one who sends me the deleted end credit scene with Nick Fury. He says this is the deleted post credit scene from Iron Man. I heard you guys talking about when are Marvel going to introduce the X-Men, and it looks like they were originally going to hint mutants. I'm sure Marvel have something planned for that, surely, but just a thought. I'm like, sure. I mean, I think we already knew that is like they eventually would bring in the X-Men, but it's just like the matter of like when.
I'm gonna be real with you, bro.
I feel like they had a lot of chances. I think, especially with Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, personally, bro, when the MCU started, like when we were still in Phase 1, even Phase 2, I had no hope.
Okay.
That Spider-Man and X-Men were going to be in the MCU. I literally thought they would never be in the MCU because they sold the film rights to the companies.
Yeah.
And those guys are stingy and they don't want to give the rights back.
Yep.
So, like, I had a feeling, I'm like, damn, bro, we're never going to see Spider-Man, the Avengers. We're never going to see the X-Men. Like, it sucks, bro. It is what it is. And then Marvel works out a deal with Sony where they share the rights for Spider-Man, and now he's in the MCU. Fire. Disney buys out 20th Century Fox and all of its rights, including the Marvel rights to Blade and Fantastic Four and X-Men back. The only weird thing is that Universal is being bitches and they're not really giving up the rights for Hulk entirely. That's why Hulk hasn't had his own solo movie.
Yeah, bro.
Except for Incredible Hulk.
Right.
That's why he's always been a side character either in Avengers or in Ragnarok or in She-Hulk. Like, it's just like a weird thing where like the MCU can still use them. I guess they're like, it's like a Sony thing where it's like you can share the rights, but they can't make solo movies for some reason for Hulk.
Which I want, man.
Yeah.
I don't like how the current Hulk is right now.
But like,
I don't like that.
Where was I going with this? Oh, that I had no hope that Spider-Man and X-Men were going to be in the MCU. So the fact
Yeah.
that like we're here now, it's like, oh shit. But like,
Yeah, right.
a part of me would have liked to have seen this crossover when Iron Man, Captain America were still around. Because now I'm never going to see Reed Richards interact with Tony Stark, and they're arguably the smartest people in the MCU.
Yeah, bro, you're right, man.
It just sucks that we're never gonna see that because the timing was just off, bro. It just kind of sucks, bro. I guess if I really wanted to see that, I could just read the comics.
That's facts.
Right?
You're right, yeah.
Like there is no continuity. Like you just make them all exist. But like it just would have been hit different if in the movies type shit.
Yeah, I know what you mean, bro. That would have been
it
cool.
sucks. I mean, it's missed opportunity, but whatever. But yeah, that's what I personally think, and that's why I feel like they scrapped that deleted scene because they didn't have the rights, and they're like, we can't tease them if we can't even use them. What the fuck?
Okay. All right. So the next one is from the other Sheldon Y. We'll just call him Sheldon Y. Shout out you, Sheldon. I guess this is the same question. Kind of. Who would you guys cast if Robert Downey Jr. didn't play Iron Man during that time in 2008?
Listen, I'm gonna be a bitch.
I don't know.
Say I don't know.
Like, and to be fair, like during that time, bro, we were 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We didn't fucking know.
We didn't know actors or nothing.
But like,
like
okay,
that.
but let's say like
we were kids. We were like, you know what? Oh, that guy? Right, just a process.
Yeah, right. But how about let's say like knowing our knowledge now?
Now,
I guess
Jason Statham.
No, man, I cannot see Jason Statham playing
Sylvester
Iron Man.
Stallone.
Fuck no. The Rock. John Cena. Dumbass.
I'm trying to see John Cena play Obadiah Stane.
Dumbass. Actually, I really like who
Can you
played
imagine
Obadiah.
Can you imagine him in the Ironmonger suit? You can't see this.
Yeah, right. I actually did like Obadiah's casting though. I liked him as Obadiah.
Jeff Bridges?
Yeah, bro. He looks pretty similar in the comics as well.
Jeff Bridges is a good actor.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. Like, I just can't
we
think.
don't know, bro. That's again, a good question.
Like, listen, it's a bitch answer, but like, I just can't think of someone who would have done a better job than Robert Downey Jr. I just see Robert Downey Jr. and that's Iron Man. Like, that's just him, bro. I can't think of somebody else.
I'm trying to think of like another type of person that I've seen that acted like that playboy style, like Brad Pitt. Nah, like.
I don't know.
Nah, right?
Christian Bale, Batman. Low key.
Okay. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I'm talking about? Like give that persona of like.
No, I get you. I'm
trying to think like who would actually do that. But yeah, yeah, Sheldon, man, my bad, bro. Like I guess we just suck ass with the question, bro. We're low IQ. But No, but yeah, bro. I mean, we try. I mean, yeah, like I said, during that time, we just didn't. Even if we go back in time and like we try looking at, I don't know, and I'm surprised even Javi's stumped, bro, because he's the one that mostly knows actors and stuff more than me.
I mean, I'm just stumped, bro, just because I can't see anybody else.
Yeah, I get you.
Robert Downey Jr. did such a good job that I don't know who else would have done a good job. Hey, who knows? Maybe Tom Cruise would have been good.
That's true.
You know, he could have been good, but like Robert Downey Jr. came in and he made it his own, and now that's my Iron Man.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. For me, it's just kind of like I
can't
see nobody else.
All right. Well, we appreciate the question though, Sheldon, bro. That was a good one. It obviously stumped us and shit. And so this one's from Ramis. Shout out to you, Ramis. He says, in your humble opinion, what made 2008 Iron Man great? That's like another question.
We basically just answered that one.
What in the 2008 Iron Man movie would you change?
Ooh.
It could be story, character, etc., and why.
What would we change?
What would we change? That's a good question. So obviously what makes Iron Man movie great, we obviously answered that already, bro.
Yeah.
So we'll go over to what would we change? It could be story, character, etc., and why. Let's see what I would change.
Low key, you know what I would change? It's literally like not even a big deal. It's a small thing.
Yeah.
But like I'm used to Iron Man in the comics.
Okay.
Where his arc reactor was like that diamond shaped thing.
Oh, okay.
So like in the movie when it was a circle, I'm like, I guess, but like I kind of like the diamond shaped one, like he does in the comics and in the video games.
Yeah.
I would probably would have changed that, but then we got Iron Man 2, cowgirl, and
then we
he
got
had
that.
the triangle one, which that one hits harder. And it sucks that they didn't keep that one, bro. They didn't keep the triangle shape arc reactor.
yeah, you're right,
I
huh?
think that was the only Iron Man suit that he had with the triangle shape. And that sucks, bro, because that one is now my new favorite.
Yeah.
Chest piece on Iron Man. The triangle just hits different, looks nicer than the circle one. Obviously, when he gets the nanotech suit in Infinity War and Endgame, he gets the diamond one that's referenced to the comics. I mean, if you remember, in Endgame, even Captain America had the fucking scales like he does in the comics. So a lot of their character design was based on OG comics and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, a part of me would have liked to have seen the diamond design in the first Iron Man.
Nothing
but then,
crazy.
like I said, Iron Man 2, when he introduced the triangle one, that one became my new favorite. And I
Yeah.
just wish they would have kept that forever.
All right, so that's not nothing crazy. I think with me, I guess maybe because I really like this movie, but I guess just to see like to add a little bit more drama and stuff. Maybe I think it would have been cool to see the chessmen.
You know what, though? When you brought them up in the
Yeah.
super synopsis, I thought about that, but I feel like maybe it's best
You think so?
that they didn't, because it would have packed the movie too much. Now you would have had too much going on. I
You
feel like
think?
because you keep it simple, where it's just Iron Man versus Iron Monger.
Okay, that's fair.
You throw in these chess-like armored people to come after him, like his minions.
He's like, "Who are you?" And then like he finds out like that it was Obadiah that sent them.
Right. It's
Like,
like,
you think
I
it would've
feel
been
like
too much?
I feel like it might be a little too much. Like it might feel out of place. Or
But what
something
if?
like that.
Because this movie was 2 hours.
Yeah.
What if they stretched it to 2:30, 2 hours and 30, and then with the chessmen?
Then they would have to do a really good job as to like establishing them,
Yeah, you're right. You're
because
right.
it's not they can't just show up out of nowhere like, all right, we're here to fight. Like, you
Well, that's
gotta
how the comics
establish-
are sometimes, man. They just show up. They're
Yeah,
like-
but let's be real.
Yeah,
Let's be
yeah.
real. Oh, back then, bro, they had like a 25-page limit, so they had
Nah,
to
yeah.
they had to cramp
Yeah,
a bunch of
yeah.
story hella short. Like, what the fuck? But
Yeah.
like in the movie form, you gotta obviously not just have them show up. You gotta establish who they are, how they came to be, and why Obadiah sends them. Like it's just a whole nother like.
Yeah,
little
you're right.
side
I
thing.
think part of a movie, it just would have been too much. Maybe too much. Like, it would have been like too much packed together,
Yeah.
overwhelming kind of. But other than that, like, okay, excluding that, everything else followed in place with Iron Man's origin and even the storyline with Obadiah and stuff.
I agree.
And yeah, man, I think they did good. I don't know necessarily what I would change.
Another thing that I think they should not have done
Okay.
would be what's the name of the suit that he wears to fight Obadiah?
In the comics, or the Silver Centurion.
Yeah, like that. Another thing, like I'm glad that they didn't do that,
Mm.
because I feel like
Yeah.
now you're introducing yet another Iron Man suit,
And it's barely
nice.
the first movie.
It's good that we've only had 3, because
Yeah.
it's kind of a progression.
Yeah.
It's like you see the upgrade. You go from the bulky ass Mark 1 to the sleeker Mark 2, and then the Mark 3 is the Mark 2,
Yeah.
but with color, the iconic red and gold.
Right.
Now you introduce a 4th one in the last act, in the last fight, and it's like a reference to the Silver Centurion. Is that what
Yeah.
it's called? In the comics, well, now you're dealing with another suit. In a sense, like in all the promotional posters and all the marketing, it's just the red and gold Iron Man suit, and that's those are the color schemes that's mostly
The famous for.
affiliated for. So it would only make sense to just have that be the OG, his main suit for the rest of the movie.
No, I mean, no, exactly. Like, they just had to crunch this story with Obadiah Stane storyline, because the Obadiah Stane storyline, bro, is like, it's a lot. It's a lot of issues, bro. Maybe like up to 8 or 12 or something like that. And so they had to crunch all of this, because there was even a story where, because before Stark International, it was actually Stane International. And in the comics, it was Stane International, and there was a whole comic book issue where Tony obviously like takes a stake, has more stake, whatever, because his father, whatever, and he ends up changing the fucking company name from Stane International to Stark, and that's his whole plot. So like it's everything's like leading up together, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So they had to crunch this all, because by the time Ironmonger comes in the picture in the comics, Tony Stark's been Iron Man for a minute.
Yeah.
And he already had his suit, and so that's why, since he already had the yellow and red suit, that's why they said, okay, you know what, let's give him a new suit to go against with Ironmonger, new villain, type shit.
Yeah.
And that's why that happened. But with here in this movie, they had to crunch that storyline with Obadiah plus his origin, like all in one movie. So that's why they just kept that suit. You know what I mean? So yeah, it makes sense. That's a really good question. I don't think I have anything to say that I would want to change. You
Does
know,
he by chance mention something that he would change?
no.
He just asked the question.
Yeah, I mean,
It's very un-Ramis-like.
Un-Ra-
Like he would have been
Yeah.
like, if it were up to me,
if it was,
10-minute audio clip of what I would have changed.
Is it cool if I could submit a 30-minute analysis as to
what, like,
why
I would have changed?
No. A 30-minute analysis as to why we needed the Centurion armor.
It's 30 minutes
Yeah,
long?
30 minutes on like why.
Jesus.
Dude, that's funny as fuck. No, but that's true though. Usually Ramos is like the type to go ahead
Be
and
like-
add his own opinions
Yeah,
with
like,
the
'cause,
question.
if it
itself.
were up to me, and then he would just say it.
Yeah.
Like, that's very un-Ramis-like of him. What the
Yeah.
fuck? All right, I guess. He just asked the question.
Yeah, he did. All right, guys. Well, shout out to Ramos. That's all the questions. That's all we have.
Okay.
And yeah, man. But yeah, with that being said, guys, man, hang up your capes, man, because that's gonna be at the end of this episode.
Yep.
You know, it was definitely fun. We hope you guys enjoyed. We hope you enjoyed the little segments that we had and everything.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you guys learned a couple things. And thank you so much for listening. And be ready for whenever we drop a new episode. Until then, wait for a signal, guys. Take care.
See you.